Satnam Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the live stream. You can put your name and your location. It's always fun to see where people are watching from. Not just for me, but everybody else. Okay, so we're going to talk about the full moon. And let me share my screen. Here. Okay, there we go. Okay. So we've got the full moon coming up on June 14th. And it's in the 11. You can see there's the glyph of the moon, 11.1. And that correlates to, remember the green center is the ajna. So that's not your third eye. It's your personal mind in human design, your own personal mind. And just to review quickly, right, we're still in the nodes. The karmic axis, which is 2343. So it's all about we're being called to go from deafness of like listening to the external and everybody else and their dog's grandmother giving us advice and telling us what to do, like become deaf to that and start listening to your own inner voice, your own intuition, and its simplicity. Remember, the mind makes everything so complex. That's not intelligence. Intelligence is actually very elegant and it's simple, right? It's simplicity. All spiritual teachings, if you look at them, they're very simple, right? So this is what we're being called to do, is listen to our own inner voice and make our lives simple, right? Things don't have to be so complex. And then this is a really important full moon. I mean, all these astrological events that are happening now are really, they're really something to look at. And I just looked at the date, right? It's June 11th. It's 11/22. It's master numbers. And then we're looking at this 11 that the moon is in. So what's really important here is that the galactic center, 2012, why 2012 was such a big deal, and I talked about this on my channel before, because it was the first time that the Earth was in direct alignment with the galactic center. So the galactic center is a big deal because that's where this evolutionary energy is coming from, and it's coming through our solar sun, and then in turn our solar sun is sending this energy to the planet, right? It's penetrating the electromagnetic field of the planet and us. So it's releasing all this ancestral memory, and then this gets projected out in the external, and that's why we're seeing all these old stories. So the full moon is right there on the galactic center. So every of these numbers from the I Ching 1 to 64, they correlate to a zodiac, right? A zodiac sign. So this is Sagittarius, but it's 27.5 degrees Sagittarius, which is the galactic center. So this is awakening our DNA. It's awakening our DNA. So you must be feeling this, like this buildup, right? This buildup of energy, and it's releasing the junk DNA. And there's no such thing as junk DNA. The science has to catch up with the spiritual. And the junk DNA is actually the storehouse of all of our ancestral memories, and they're starting to release. And they get purified, and under that is our cities, and these are our divine gifts. And people who remember, they can remember, like first life and earlier on during the times of Atlantis and Lemuria, we had great powers. So those will be coming back, right, when we do this ancestral purification work as a humanity. I just want to stay on track here. And I'll acknowledge people in a second. I apologize for not getting a notification out to people. I was up really late last night till 2:30 a.m. working on my cards. I created an Oracle card deck. I can't wait to start using it myself. Anyway, it got off to the printers last night, which was quite a little miracle in itself. Okay. Just let me get, just so I can relax when all this is done. There we go. Okay. Just me. Okay, we'll work with this. So I just want to acknowledge some people that are here. Luna Song, Diane, yes. Love how often you see doing these, yeah. And listening from Sydney. Well, there's so much to share. And I've been really called to the divine to just start sharing more and more. And not like I'm going to run out of content, you know, not with human design, because I'm constantly learning. So let's look at this 11. So you've got the ajna up here. So this is the mind, and these correlate to the eyes. So the 17, and Jupiter is in the 17. It's the shadow of opinion. And we're seeing that, right? Jupiter expands everything. So it's expanding people sharing their opinions, whether it's wanted or not. And then the 11 is the left eye. So the 17 is the right eye, and the 11 is the left eye. So what's really interesting about the eyes, and in the 17 too, if you share, because this is a projector channel, if you share your opinions without being invited, then your right eye starts to weaken. The people that have the 17. And then the 11 is the left eye. So if you look at, here's a hot tip. If you want to know what's going on with somebody, like a person, who's running the show, like who's really running the show, look into their eyes, but look into their left eye. And the left eye will give you lots of information about who is behind those eyes, right? And what was I going to say about that? Because often you'll see, especially if a child, you can always tell if a child's been traumatized, like early on, is when they're asymmetrical, like one eye is bigger than the other. You'll see that and you'll know, oh, that child's been abused. And it's so sad to see it with babies, like really early on, you can tell they've been traumatized. But just use that. The left eye will tell you lots and lots when you look into the left eye of who's running the show. And this is connected to this 11th shadow, right? This gate. So it's the shadow of obscurity, and it's the gift of light. So it connects with the right side of our brain. And the full moon is in this, right? In this 11 with the galactic center. So this is a big deal. This full moon coming up on June 14th. So this is what's coming back. I mean, our whole system and our educational system has been about the worship of the left side of the brain, which is our logic and our strategic, right? Ability to analyze, masculine. So it's all about separation, keeping things separate. Our whole systems are based on that, like the medical system and dentistry, which I talked about in one of my videos, last video. And so the right side of the brain sees the whole. It's the feminine, sees the whole picture. And this is what's coming back. It's been repressed, right? This right side of our brain has been really repressed because it's feared, for one thing, because it's dark. It's mysterious. That's what the feminine is. It's the dark feminine. It's mysterious. And it's filled with archetype and symbols and repressed memories, and these are our ancestral memories that are releasing right through this 11. So I just wanted to talk about archetypes. So the thing is, we don't understand what is going on in the right side of the brain, right? Because it's so mysterious, and it's going to be releasing. Like, we're going to see this more and more when we come more and more into the Aquarian age. There's going to be this release from the right side of the brain, and people who are not aligned with their spirit and their soul are going to have a really tough time. So an archetype is like a pocket of energy. It's a pocket of energy that lives in the collective unconscious of humanity. So we know archetypes. They're like a shorthand. If somebody says, oh, she's a princess, all you have to say is she's a princess. And right away it's like, oh, she's entitled and she's high needs and she's spoiled, right? We know this. We got the whole character just from saying princess. They're universal, right? These archetypes. Or he's a Scrooge, right? He's a Scrooge. Oh, he's a tightwad, right? He doesn't share. It's all about money and clinging to money. And he's really stingy with his money. He's not generous, right? Scrooge. Doesn't take much. And you got the whole picture of that person, that character, just through archetype. So archetypes are these energies that are that powerful pockets of energy that live in the collective unconscious, and they move through us. And how we access them is through the dream world. We can access them through the dream world. They're symbols, but they've got a lot of power. So what happens with this shadow of obscurity is because it's hiding the truth from us. The shadow hides the truth from us. It hides the light from us, right? So it's like when you were a kid, maybe you were a kid or a parent and the child's screaming in the middle of the night, right? And the parent comes in and it's like, what's the matter? What's the matter? Oh, there's a monster over there in the corner. And what does the parent do? Turns on the light. It's like, it's not a monster. It's just a pile of laundry in the corner, right? So this is like an example of this obscurity. When we don't have the light, the shadow takes over, right? So this is in terms of that child, is projecting their fear, right? Their fear from the collective unconscious onto this that they don't understand. They can't see clearly. They don't have all the information, and the information is the light. So that would be example. So we live in shadow frequency here on the planet, so we're not seeing. It's like this is the dark age, right? They talk about this in the Vedas. This is the dark age, the Kali Yuga, right? This is only when 1 foot of the bull is on the ground. They use the analogy of the bull. So we only have 1/4 of the truth. We only have 1/4 of the light. So what are we doing? We're projecting all of our fears, right? Our ancestral fears onto the external, and we're not seeing clearly. So we're in this really like a nightmare almost, in virtual reality nightmare. But this is returning back into the golden age, right? The Aquarian age, the golden age, which is like, it's full, the lights are all on, and the lights are really starting to come on now, right? Because we're seeing these shadows, and we're seeing through the truth. I'm seeing less and less people getting fooled by the propaganda, now. So, okay, where was I? It's again being surrendered to the present moment. Oh, with the right side of the brain. Oh, how we work with archetypes. That was my thought. So how we work with archetypes, because we don't understand them. So an archetypical energy is moving through you, it moves through us all the time, but it's not who we are. And where we get into trouble with this shadow of obscurity is that the ego identifies with that energy, because it's just an energy. It's a powerful energy, but it's an energy. And then it creates a story about it. Right? It identifies with it. So this is the Messiah complex, right? People who have go insane and have huge mental health issues. What they're doing is they're getting locked into that. They're getting locked into the right side of the brain and locked into the unconscious, and they're trying to make sense of it. And then it's like, I'm Jesus, I'm the Messiah. You've heard that, the Messiah Well, they're identifying with that archetype. So this is what happens with us if we identify with an archetype, and people do this all the time. You hear this about past lives. Some people think that everybody was famous, right? In their past life, everybody was famous. Well, I was Queen Elizabeth in my past life, and it's you hear and they're not wrong. Like when you hear people talk about that, I was this Queen Elizabeth I in my past life, which may or may not be true, but you've got to look at it more closely, that they're identifying with the archetype of the queen, the archetype of the queen. And then the ego wants to create a story about it. And it was, you know, and the ego needs to be special, right? So I was this historical figure because it's trying to make sense of that energy, right? The left side of the brain is trying to make sense of the right side of the brain because it doesn't understand it, right? What that energy is. So it's like, okay, well, use that powerful archetypes that's moving through you because it's from your soul. Like, what do you need to identify, or not identify with, but to use? You can use that energy. Oh, I need to bring more of that queen archetype in my life, right? Nobody messes with the queen, right? And everybody serves the queen. So it's like you're taking on this costume, this archetype, and you're using it for your soul's journey, but it's not you, right? And you can do this with power animals too. The shamans use that system. Then that's also using the right side of the brain is power animals. So if you've got to confront a person that you've got a lot of karma with, because remember we're moving through these karmic relationships this year, and you're like afraid because it brings up so much fear and terror because who knows what they did to you in last life. Maybe they killed you and persecuted you, and this has been going on forever, right? And there's this terror coming up. You don't know where it's coming from. Well, it's coming from your unconscious, right? So you can use an animal, a power animal, right? You can just put a prayer out before you go to sleep at night, like, please bring me my power animal that I can really use. Because remember, it takes 8.4 million lifetimes to get to where we are now as an awakened human. So we've gone from rock, mineral, plant, the animal kingdom, all the way up to the human. So that's within us. So we can draw upon that power if we want to, right? So you could like, okay, I want to be the bear. I want to be a big grizzly bear. That's my power animal. Well, you call that in, that energy of the grizzly bear, because you were most likely a grizzly bear one of those lifetimes, and you just bring that energy in. It doesn't mean you're on all fours and right, being like a bear, but you have the energetic of the bear, and like nobody messes with the bear. So you just have it in your field, right, in your aura. So you're bringing this in. It's like a cloak. You have this cloak around you, the bear, the mama bear, and then you deal with that karmic relationship, with that frequency. And they're going to feel it. The other person will feel it. Our aura does all the talking. This can do a lot of lying, right? Our mouth and our tongue can do lie till the cows come home, but our auras never lie, right? So your aura will be communicating that power. So this is how we can use archetype. And so, you may have past lives of in the dream world of like, oh, I was Abraham Lincoln and I was assassinated, right? For example, we've got to look at it more deeply, because you remember the left side of the brain's trying to make sense of it. And it's like, don't go there. That's the ego identification. Go to like, what does this really represent? Oh, I was probably persecuted in past lives for standing up for putting my chin out, right? Going against the crowd, standing for my values. And this is a fear that's being worked through me now. Or my ancestors did the same, right? This is all connected to the 11 like this too. So it's like we need to really not be victimized by these archetypes, right? That we're bigger than these archetypes, but these are energies that we can use, right? So also look at, I wonder if I want to go down that road. Maybe not yet. I don't want to confuse people too much with this, because it's very, very deep. And they're symbols that we can use. They're very, very powerful. And they help. I know what I wanted to say. It's about the shadow, right? This 11 is really about the shadow. And we can't spiritual leapfrog. People want a spiritual leapfrog. I want to be all light and love. So all light and love and unicorns and rainbows. I want to be up here. Well, you don't get up here unless you embrace your shadow. And this is what's stored in this right side of the brain. These deep, deep, dark, dark shadows that we're projecting on other people, and they're playing these dark shadows for us. So eventually, I mean, we have to meet our doppelganger, right? With this 11, we have to meet our arch nemesis, which is us. It's that dark, all those shadows that we see out in the world. Well, they all come together as one, right? When we start doing shadow work, and then you come into that one shadow, and that's you. That's the dark side of you. It's the positive, negative, right? And this is Jesus and the devil, right? Coming together. It's the Agent Smith and Neo, right? If you watch The Matrix, it's that merging, and that dark side is very, very powerful, but it's you. So it's merging both you into the light, right? Where you're more your authentic self. The other thing I wanted to say about the 11 is about beliefs, because we're looking for the light. And the light, we're looking for it out here, and that's not where it is. The light is inside you, and it's in the densest, darkest areas, right, within your psyche. And that's what we have to remember, right? There's light in the dark, and there's dark in the light. We're merging light and shadow for this great golden age that's coming. And there's a lot of power in facing your shadow, so not to be afraid of it. Because the shadow will want you to avoid facing it and confronting it, and want you to blame it on somebody else. So often this doppelganger, it's that person that really, really triggers you, you know? And they don't go away. Maybe you get rid of that person, but that frequency comes back to you, because it's something that you have to face and confront. So it's not fighting. You can't fight with the shadow, right? You're just feeding it. You've got to learn from it, right? You've got to learn from it. And learning from it is taking responsibility. Like the other person is you, right? That's one of the sutras for the Aquarian age. And this is what we project, that doppelganger, that arch nemesis, that's us, onto somebody else, right? That we have to start taking responsibility for our shadow patterns. Beliefs, because we're all looking for the light. So this is about beliefs too. And beliefs are thoughts, but they're thoughts on steroids. That's what a belief is. It's thoughts on steroids. And so it can really affect your reality. Like this shadow is keeping you in like the nightmare virtual reality. And who's in charge of that is the ego. The ego is in charge of that dark reality, and that's Mr. Wormtongue. I don't know if you can see him there. Yeah. Let me just... Oh, I know. Kind of at a loss here. Oh, I see. I just want to go through the ego a little tiny bit, because that's what I feel is the real one, the real entity that's obscuring the light from us is this ego. Okay. Scenes, why isn't it coming up? Okay. Maybe I'll do it this way. There we go. There. The old-fashioned way. So this is from Lord of the Rings, if you've watched that. That's a great trinity, or trilogy. I was confused. I was trinity and trilogy. About this battle of good and evil, right? Talk about archetypes. It's filled with archetypes, the Lord of the Rings. That's why it's so good and rich, right? It's really rich because we can relate to it. This is how our archetypes get played out through our movies and our books and things like that, right? These archetypes. So this is the ego, this is Wormtongue, and this is the king of Rohan. So he was under a spell, right? So he's got the Wormtongue whispering in his ear, right? Don't trust your daughter. Don't trust your son. Don't trust the people that are really there to support you, right? So he's feeding them the lines what to say. And then he's like, trust the dark people, right? The dark ones that do not have his best interests in mind. So this is what the ego does to us, because it wants to obscure the light from us. It wants to obscure the truth from us, because that's our power. Like, how can you make any decisions, really clear decisions in your life, if you don't have if the lights aren't on? Look what you're going to listen to. That's the one that you'll listen to. Most people listen to Wormtongue and making their decisions in life and who to trust and who not to trust, and they're trusting the wrong people, right? And then they're throwing and kicking the ones that are there to help them and support them to the curb. This is the self-sabotage, right? When we start listening to the ego. So we've got to listen to the truth within, the deeper truth within, and that means bypassing the ego. It means going down to the depths of who you are so you can listen to your intuition. And that's what this nodal axis is telling us, to stop listening to the ego. The ego is external to us, right? The ego is external to us. The mind is external to us. It's not just out here. The boundaries aren't just our skin, you know? It's also in our mind. We're deeper than our mind. We're deeper than our ego. So this 11th shadow is ruled by this guy, the ego. So we've got to stop listening to it. And this is why we need to meditate. We need to meditate so we can discern what we're listening to, what voice we're listening to. And I've got a great video of the 5 signs, right? When you're listening to your ego versus when you're listening to your soul. Okay. So beliefs. So we don't want to be believing the ego, right? We don't want to be believing the ego. And these beliefs follow us from our ancestors too. So we want to be digging those out, because what we believe, we see, right? I believe it, and then I see it on the external. That's the power of our mind. So we want to really be digging out those beliefs, right? Is this really mine, or is this something my mother or my father taught me, or society taught me, or the educational system taught me? Remember, this is all about your direct experience. It goes back to the divine. You want to have your direct experience with the divine. Religion is believing in someone else's experience of the divine. That's what a religion is. They form a religion around it, right? Spirituality, if you want to call it that, is our direct, you're having your own direct personal experience with the divine. That's the gift, right? The gift of light with this 11. So not be falling into this belief, because we get lazy. We get lazy with our spirituality. We don't put an effort into it. We just want to believe whatever that person says because they sound nice, right? They sound nice. They got the right words. This is how you can be manipulated into getting into cults, why people get into cults, why people get into religions and things like that, why they believe the things that they do, because they get seduced and manipulated, right, through this shadow, because the shadow is like, come, I'll give you the light. I'll show you the light. Don't listen. You got to go inside. Any teacher that's teaching you to follow me, just do what I say, I got all the answers, you want to run as fast as you can out the door, right? Any teacher that's worth their salt, that's a real teacher, is pointing you back to you. Like, you need to go back inside and find your own truth, your own inner truth. And that's inside you, you know? This is the age of empowerment, the Aquarian age. Okay. So let me just check out any comments, and then we'll get right into the signs. Okay. Eyes are twitching. Raquel, yeah. This is using the right side of your brain. I don't have a comment in that. Sometimes that happens to me, but then it just goes away. Sometimes if I'm getting an upgrade, like energy's moving through me, I'll start to see these geometric shapes just kind of out of my side eye. I can see them. I don't freak out about it. It's like, oh, something big has happened to me energetically. And then it just goes away. It will be there for a couple hours. And then it just leaves. Left or right. Yeah, this is the duality. Even politically, we see that. This is the shadow of opinion, 17, right? This or that, left or right. So we're coming into unity consciousness. The left and right politically have to come together and merge together. And this is right, the following the mind, the path of the mind, science, following religion. Yeah. Okay. Been hitting. Yes, we'll check out if you've got the 11 too. Go to your chart, because this will really apply to you. Okay, so let's look at the collective first and what's going on there. So the shadow of obscurity falls in for the collective in the 11th house. So this is our hopes and dreams. I feel strongly about that, our hopes and dreams of changing through this whole since 2020. Well, since 2012, things have changed. And our beliefs about that. Right, what we're aspiring to, what are our hopes and dreams? This is about dreams too. The 11th gift of light. It's finding your unique dream, not somebody else's dream or what your parents' dreams were for you or your grandparents' dreams for you. You know, like your parent can have a dream where they just wanted a stable job. That's all my mother wanted. She wanted stability because she didn't have that when she was a child. So that's their biggest dream, their biggest aspiration. I just want stability. I want financial stability because I didn't have that when I was a child, right? So then these beliefs get passed down to you. Well, that's all I should aspire to too then, right? So this is about really the collective going deeper into what they want as an individual. Remember, we're not getting through the Aquarian age until we individuate, each one of us, because we can't just join into the collective, because then we're in groupthink, and some people are going for that. I just want to go along, get along, go along. Don't cause any ruckus. I just want to go with the crowd. Well, the Aquarian age is like there's no power for you doing that. You have to individuate first. You need to be your authentic self. Stripped bare of all those beliefs from your ancestors, the conditioning from your ancestors and your educational system. All that has to be ripped away. So that's what I see is happening there. And also friendship. The Aquarian age is friendship. All of our relationships, romantic relationships, our relationships with our family and our co-workers, all of that has to be rooted in friendship first. That's the Aquarian age, right? So we're bringing that back, this idea of friendship, just with it being in the 11th house, and getting rid of the obscurity of this guy, right? Worm tongue saying, don't trust that person. They're after your job. Keep your eye on them, right? They're going to compete with you. They're going to stab you in the back. Or, oh, your spouse. I think that your spouse was cheating. Or I think your spouse has been cheating. They didn't call, and I called their phone, and they didn't answer. And this is all the craziness the ego creates because it feeds on conflict. That's its food, is conflict. So it can make you super suspicious of everyone. You can't trust anyone. And what a waste of energy that is. Just a total waste of energy. And most of it's misunderstanding. Most misunderstanding comes when there's silence, right? When the lights are off, the kid and the monster and the pile of laundry, right? When the lights are off, when you don't have the information, then the ego starts going crazy. This is the shadow of obscurity, keeping that truth from you. So you always want to assume the best, not go to the worst, because what you believe, you'll see, right? So if that's in your mind all the time, my partner's cheating on me, or is going to cheat on me and betray me, and that's always in the back of your mind, well, guess what? They're going to do that. They're totally going to do that, because you'll bring it into manifestation, right? That's how it works. So this is also, right, that we're going through with this full moon and getting the truth, getting to the truth. Who is really your friend and who's not, you know? It can be a shocker when those lights come on for people, because that's one of the greatest pains of the human, is what I thought was true is no longer true. What I thought was true is no longer true. It's a great pain. Okay, so let's do a couple cards for the collective. Remember, when you're with the collective, you're moving at the snail's pace. Moving at the snail's pace. So they're going to be, the whole collective will take time to catch up. Okay. What is the collective? What's the ego telling the collective? Yeah, so the full moon's all about loss, like letting something go so that the new can come in. And this connects back to December. So if you go back to December 2021, like mid-December, Christmas time, that's when it got activated. That was when the sun activated the 11. And then Mars came, activated the 11 in January, mid-January. And then full moon is now. So we're completing some kind of cycle that started in December. Okay. What's the ego telling the collective? 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 I'll just do 3 of these. Interesting. So it's the ego is neediness. You can see the guy on his knees begging the woman for something. A big turn off, right? This is the codependence card right here. So it's saying the collective has to let go of this codependence on little g. That's what I see. Needing to let go of little g. This codependent relationship that the collective has with needing some organization to rule them, tell them what to do, like their children, right? So this could be happening with their networks, and it's just going to come into light. It's time to let this go, right? Because we're all becoming spiritual adults. And just because it's the 10 of Swords, this is like a final completion for the collective to start moving out of this energy of codependency on outside agencies, to be told what to do. Like, we're adults. We don't need to be told what to do. And we know what's right or wrong, right? So this is an ending. right? Painful ending, but an ending nonetheless of this codependency, right? And then the Knight of Pentacles too. So this is about self-sufficiency, especially around money, like being more independent. With the Aquarian age, I feel like we're going to see more entrepreneurs start up because we need all these creative solutions, right? So if you look at the people, I was doing this, talking to this stockbroker here on the island and just asking about how these people became really, really wealthy. And he's done a lot of research on companies and things like that. And so he's telling me the stories, but I'm good at pattern recognition, right? Because I've got the 17. That each story where the person got really, really wealthy, they weren't chasing the dollar. They were not chasing the dollar at all. The dollar chased them. And what the spirit, and I really feel it's like the spirit of the Knight of Pentacles here, is they looked at what was missing. They were looking into the future, like future trends. They could see what was coming. And then they created something. So it's that ability to look into the future, see what's needed, from what will the collective need in the future with all these institutions going down, because they're all going down. It's in the prophecy. We're seeing it now. Those are the ones that did really, really well. So we can become. It's a win-win. You serve the collective with your gifts and talents, right? Each one of these people that I heard about, they served with their gifts and talents, and they loved what they were doing, and that attracted people to them with their, I would love to see their charts too. I wonder if they're manifestors. So attracting the right people and the resources. And then they made a ton of money. So you can really thrive during these great times of change. And you heard that with the stock market crash, right? These are opportunities. But what we do is we cling. This, right? The neediness. I need someone to take care of me. I need a job. I need. I need somebody else, right? And you know, if you're around a needy person, it's a turnoff. It's like a huge turnoff. Because they're debasing themselves, right? They're not claiming their power. So that, to me, this has to go. And so there'll be a betrayal, right? Some kind of betrayal where people, sometimes that's what's needed for people to wake up, is to get hugely stabbed in the back, like 10 times, multiple times, till they get it. It's like, oh, that person didn't have my best interests in mind. They're not my friend, like the 11th house. Yeah. And there's a price to pay. There's always a price to pay when you're, you know, what's that saying? When you sleep with dogs, you get fleas. Lie down with dogs, you get fleas. Especially when you're expecting something, right? Because this person can be taken advantage of. That's a needy person like that. They can be taken advantage of, you know? Yeah. And there's always a cost. There's always a rope attached if somebody wants to give you something for free, you know? Okay. So let's see what the gift is for the collective. I want to write these down too, so I want to do a wrap up at the end. Okay, what's the gift under the neediness? The codependency. What's this one here? Yeah, we're on it. We are on it. It's the empowerment card. So it's time to empower ourselves as a collective to move from this neediness that's just leading to betrayal to this, to empowerment. And so she's got her little dress. It looks like an apron, and she's catching all the stars from the sky. So it's not getting empowered by worm tongue, right? The ego. This is getting empowered by the divine. That's what this says, the divine. And stars always represent our ancestors to me. When I look out in the sky, it feels like our ancestors are looking down at us. Yeah, and receive your power from there. Not be begging and pleading, right? For something, right? Get it from the divine. If you want to be codependent, go codependent and needy on the divine. Right? Because there will be an equal flow. And remember, when you receive this energy, it's not just for you. It's for you to share with other people. And this is the age of empowerment. The Aquarian age is the age of empowerment. So empower yourself. Bring on that spirit animal, whatever spirit animal comes to you. I know the Black Panther's really a big one for me. Visited me many times, the Black Panther. You don't mess with the Black Panther either. Right? So do things to empower yourself and know that you can do it. You don't need to be relying on some pimp, you know, like little G is like a pimp. We'll protect you. Meanwhile, they're the ones attacking you, right? Meanwhile, they're the ones doing this, right? Stabbing you in the back, left and right. We're dealing with this consciousness of narcissism. That's why we're seeing it. So it's like so in our consciousness right now, this narcissism. Okay. Yeah, so this is turning on the light, empowering. Okay. Let's do the overlays here. And we're going to start with, where are we going to start? We'll start with Pisces. Let's go Pisces. That one. Okay. Where are we starting? Pisces. Pisces is usually... is it coming up? I don't see it. Just a sec, because I want to... oh, it's probably locked. There we go. Because it makes it easy for me when I timestamp, when it's all uploaded, to find it. There we go. There's Pisces. Pisces, sun, moon, or rising. What's going on for Pisces? Oh, it's in your 10th house. Is that right? That makes sense, eh? Sagittarius on the midheaven for Pisces. Oh, I just want to write this down first. So collective, neediness, empowerment, Ten of Swords, and Knight of Pentacles. Remember, when you're building things, like the Knight of Pentacles is really slow, but it's that slow and steady. It's like the Saturn lessons, right? It's not the get quick overnight thing. It's like really slow, but it's really stable and long lasting. So it's in the 10th house for Pisces. So there could be some beliefs, because this is about beliefs being obscured through your father, because the 10th house represents the father, or a father figure in your life. So somebody doesn't necessarily have to be older than you, but that male that you look to as an authority, or they have some kind, maybe you have a belief that that this is how deep and warped it can get, right? Like some people can have a belief that, oh, if that person has gray hair on their head and a male, right? For some reason, they're the expert, right? They have more knowledge than I do, which may or may not be true. Wisdom doesn't always come with age. You know that. You've met some elderly people. They didn't learn their lessons. That's your time to share, right? When you're in your crone years. So there could be a belief there where things are, that light is hidden, where you're not getting the full picture and not connecting to your own direct experience, going into your own inner authority, because this is about authority. It's about the 10th house's authority. There may be some misbeliefs about what your soul purpose is. So the 10th house is your soul purpose and your vocation. Maybe you've taken that on from your ancestors. Well, I have to make this certain amount of money, and I've got to get a title. I have to have a title, and I have to have all these letters behind my name and all this education. And then I'm status, right? Because the 10th house is about status and your soul purpose. And then I'm successful. And you really want to look at that. It's like, well, what's my definition of success? That's what this 11 is asking you to go into your own inner light, your inner truth. What's successful for me? What's my soul calling me to do? My soul purpose in this lifetime. And not comparing yourself to others. That's another thing that we do, is we compare ourselves to others. And they're, like me, nobody can compete with me. And I'm not saying that from arrogance. It's because I'm Michael. I'm Michael Neutrino. There's only one Michael Neutrino. And like there's only one you. So it doesn't make sense that anybody could compete with me, because I'm Michael Neutrino. I can only be Michael Neutrino, like you can only be you. I can't compete with you. So we're all in our own lanes. So to remember that we're all in our own lanes. And this is what Worm Tongue says. Compare. They're doing so much better than you. Why don't you do this? Why don't you be the copycat? It's about being your authentic self, right? For the Aquarian age. So there's going to be something illuminated for you that started around December, and that's been picking up pace, like speeding up. And there's going to be a culmination point, because this is very healing too, right? This divine energy that's coming through the 11th, coming through your right brain, like giving you more insight in what's true for you, for your soul purpose. Because Pisces can really, because they're so sensitive, right? They're the last of the zodiac. That can be, the workplace thing can be really a stretch for Pisces, because they're so sensitive. And they're teachers, they're healers. So you may be breaking loose from something you've inherited through your father, right? The father line. Okay. So let's see what the ego is telling Pisces. And becoming your own inner authority, Pisces. You got to become your own inner authority. Okay. Oh, I forgot to use cards. So for this full moon, this is for everybody, is to really watch your dreams, what's coming through your dreams. Okay, this is for Pisces. What's the ego telling Pisces about the 10th house? What's the ego telling Pisces? What's the ego telling Pisces? That one. Interesting. Okay. So remember, the full moon's about letting go. So Pisces is letting go. So denial, right? This is the guy on the rickety old bridge waving, completely in denial that he's in danger. So completely in denial that you're energetically in danger was by some kind of father figure in your life. So it could be a supervisor too, a boss. Could be your spouse, your partner, who's very like authoritarian, not no open heart, just like kind of that King of Swords energy, right? Like really, really cold. That this could be in denial. The stories the ego can tell you, right? It's, oh, he'll change. You just have to do better, right? You just have to give more. You're not giving enough. And make all these excuses for the bad behavior too, Pisces, you know? Because it's coming with this, the Three of Swords. This is sorrow and heartbreak. This is like, right? You're in denial about your heart. What's going on here in the 10th house? And it could be your relationship with your father too, to look at that too. Denial of this, of your broken heart that you need to heal. This energy is very, very healing too, that's coming through. We have to heal, you know? And the belief too, denial is a belief that you don't have to do this in this lifetime. We can get tricked into that too. This is the patriarchy. The 10th house is the patriarchy, right? Emotions and sensitivity, that's weakness. We've got no time for that in the workplace, you know? We don't value that. This is the masculine not valuing the feminine. And it's returning, like it's returning. So denying that you have to do this work. We all have to. This is how our hearts have to open. Yeah. For the Aquarian age. Okay, so what's underneath this for Pisces? What's the gift? It's that one. Oh. I wasn't expecting this one. It's humor. It's a clown. It's a happy clown, right? Not the sad clown, the sad, creepy clown. It's humor. Yeah. There's nothing worse for worm tongue. In the shadow, there's nothing worse for the ego. This is its kryptonite. It's humor. It's to laugh at it, right? Because the ego takes everything so seriously. So you got some ego maniac, 10th house authoritarian, probably a narcissist that you're going to deal with. You got to laugh at them. Right? You got to laugh at them because it's just the ego. And it's about being yourself too. That's what I see too. Because you can't laugh. It's like singing. You can't sing without being yourself. You can't sing without opening that heart up. You can't laugh without opening that heart up. Right? It's like, it's so healing for the heart is to have a good laugh. So that's what I see Pisces has to bring in more humor, to get out of denial, right? That their heart is broken, to get out of denial, and then bringing more humor. And this is going to heal this. Like, yes, there's tears to be shed, for sure, because that's the after effects of healing. The crying is totally part of the healing. You can't avoid the crying. But then the laughing. Sometimes you may have done this yourself, where you're having a huge emotional release and you're crying, and then you just start laughing. I've done that before. It's like so bizarre. I just start laughing and I can't stop. And it's like my mind is like, why are you laughing? The ego, worm tongue. Why are you laughing? Because you're laughing. It's a release. It's a healing release. So to have, and be hanging out with people that you laugh, like you have a good laugh, that you feel good with, you know? I just think laughter is underrated for sure. Humor. So that's what I see for, to bring the light in too. It's relaxing for the heart. You have to be yourself. You can't fake a laugh. People can see right through it when you're not being yourself when you laugh. And you lighten up, right? You lighten up. Yeah. Okay. Because usually ego, people are really identified with their ego. They're always super serious. And if they're making a joke, it's like to put you down. It's not real. Oh, I was just joking. And it's like completely cruel, right? Bullying kind of, that's not real humor, right? So that will drive them crazy because they can't be in that light. Remember, this is all about the light. Okay. So let's go for Aries. Let's go for Aries. The ram. Okay. Just want to put these away. Oh, I want to write this down. Pisces is denial. Page of Swords. Humor. Okay, Aries. 9th house. So Aries, the shadow of obscurity, is in your 9th house. So this is totally about perception in your stories that you're telling yourself. Aries. And this can obscure the light of how you're seeing the world, right? It's all about your worldview. It's about your optimism. So this shadow can be really pulling you down into the low frequency of obscurity and hiding the light from you and not seeing the bigger picture. Remember, the left brain is all about like seeing the compartment. You're very limited. You got the blinders like a horse on, right? You're like the ram with the blinders on. You can't see the whole because you don't have the whole picture. So what I would say with Aries is don't be jumping the gun because Aries are so impulsive. They're pulling the trigger, right? Before they even see the person. They're pulling the trigger, meaning Aries struggle with impulse control. So, what was I going to say about that? To just say, I don't have the whole picture. Just don't be jumping to conclusions, right? Okay, the belief system, 9th house. Okay, let's do some cards and we'll put the picture together here. I don't know what that annoying sound is. I'm not going to focus on it though. That's the thing with noise, like the mind extends and it expands. So whatever you focus on expands. Oh, and it's also about 9th house. I mean, it's like spirituality. It's religion. So you may be, there may be some teaching that you're into right now that's coming to a culmination point that you're going to be illuminated. Like, oh, this isn't the real thing. This is like egocentric. There's teachings out there that are they're tainted with ego. And that means they're not true. They're not of the light, the real light. So to watch that, where are you being obscured with what teachings you're blindly following, thinking it's the truth? Right? Because that pile of laundry that kid sees that I talked about at the beginning of the video could look like a monster, but it can also look like an angel, right? That projection happens too. Not seeing things clearly. But my sense is you're falling the other way, right? More the glass is half full than the glass is half empty. Or the glass is half empty, not the glass is half full. So what is Aries? What's the ego telling Aries? No surprise there. No surprise there. The rebel. Okay. Is there a card that goes with the rebel? This one, yeah. He's doing two. Yeah. Okay. So it's the rebel. The guy's got his hand up, his fist up to the sky, right? With the divine. Yeah, this is listening to the ego. So listening to worm tongue, the rebel. This is the lower frequency rebel. I'm not going to listen to the divine. I'm going to listen to the worm tongue. And worm tongue is, the ego is so the antithesis of God. Edging God out. You can say that ego, the ego, edging God out. It's the duality, right? So this issue with authority, it can come through your spirituality and actually is a great disservice to your spiritual journey. This ego, right? This rebel ego, and really, what I would say is go back to your father. Like issues with your father or a parent, could be your mother or your father. Sometimes the mother's more yang, she's more like a father figure to you, and the father is more the yin, more of a mother figure. So that's where the root of this goes to, right? It goes back to your family of origin. And it's that anger, right? Anger at one of the parents, right? And then it carries on to you in adulthood. And this is where we get into trouble, is when we project it onto a parent. Yeah. So this ninth house with this shadow and bringing more light and the light of awareness, you're going to see these patterns, right? You're going to see the pattern of how this has been really sabotaging you. You know, I'm going to just do it my own way. I'm not going to listen to anybody. I'm just doing it my own way. But you're doing it ego's way. You're not doing it your soul's way. That's the true rebel. This is reactionary, right? Somebody says for me to do something, I'm going to do the opposite, right? It's a reaction. It's not a response, right? So responding is like listening. Okay, thank you for your feedback. You're telling me what to do. Thank you. I got to take that in now. I'm going to take that inside to discern the truth for me. Because remember, the truth isn't something you figure out with your mind, because the mind will have you back and forth. Truth is a frequency that you feel and experience inside you. Does this resonate with the truth that I am? Satnam, right? Truth is my identity. It's a frequency. Does this resonate? If you look at frequency, because the Aquarian age is all about frequency. So does this frequency that this person is saying I should do, is it resonating with the frequency inside me, that frequency of truth? And if it's a match, then yes, it's true, right? If it's not, no, it's not a match. It's not a match for me. Remember, we're feeling our way, right? Back up here. Going from that mental awareness system to the solar plexus awareness system. So we're not thinking our way through life. We're feeling our way through life now. So this is what you do. That's the true rebel, is I follow my own voice. I follow my own heart. I follow my own intuition. That's the true rebel, right? That's, this is the false, like the lower frequency rebel. That's just gonna, because it's the ego. Where's the ego want? Wants you completely destroyed, right? Dead end roads. So then we've got the Queen of Swords here, right? In the ninth house. So to me, this is about cutting away these kinds of thoughts. Just do your own thing. They don't know what they're talking about. Not going in, like staying in the mind, in the ego. So cutting that away, right? No emotions. Queen of Swords has no emotions. She just cuts it. right? This does no longer serve me whatsoever. Yeah. Let's see what the gift is. She could also be related to the rebel too, you know, because she's so cold. I'm not going to listen to anything you have to say. I'm going to do the opposite, right? So it can work that way too. It's light and shadow to all of these archetypes. Or maybe you're dealing with a Queen of Swords type figure too in your life. In that 9th house, like a teacher. And the men can be the Queen of Swords too. Just really cold. Spirituality is not cold. It's about opening your heart. Okay. This one just flipped out. Isn't that funny? So this makes sense. This is learning. Learning. So it's a father with a little kid teaching the kid how to swim. And it's the 9th house, right? That's all about education and learning. Yeah. Yeah, so this is obscuring the light from you, the rebel. So learning about that, learning about yourself. Remember, if you're a generator, a manifesting generator, you really have to know yourself, right? You've got to like dig out and cut away whatever is not serving you anymore. And I think that's going to be a lot illuminated for you with this full moon that's happening, right? So just learning from this and make corrections. This is where we have to be compassionate with ourselves. We fall off the horse. We get on the horse again. I made a mistake. I learned more about myself. We're constantly learning more about ourselves. Can you imagine if you just stayed at that state of consciousness you were as a teenager? Right? Yeah, we're continually growing and learning. So learning from this rebel, like what triggers the rebel in you, and you got to go back to childhood. You got to go back to childhood to dig that out, because this goes back to childhood. I'm never going to listen to mom and dad again. I'm doing the opposite. They hurt me, right? That's all it is. Okay. And you got the 3 of Wands too, which shows me you've been waiting. You've been procrastinating on this work, right? Yeah. Okay. And you're not going to go forward. That's what this also is saying. You're not going to go forward until you deal with this rebel. It makes you angry. Aries has to deal with anger in this lifetime. It's one of their major lessons. Okay. Okay. Let's see. We're off to the bulls. Nobody's putting down what they are. They're signs. You all want to be hidden. You want to be obscure. Okay. Hidden away. Okay, there's the bulls. Okay. And that was the rebel. The rebel. See, I already forgot it. Learning. My mind just goes. Okay, let's go for Taurus. Ooh, Taurus. The big one is in the 8th house. In the 8th house, the shadow of obscurity. So these are deep phobias, like all your fears and your phobias. Not from this lifetime, but from past lives too. So the traumas are all in the 8th house. And this is around your relationships. So you got to go back to December. Something happened. A catalyst happened in December. Something got activated in the external world in January, mid-January, because that's when Mars came into the 11. And then this is the culmination point, right, where you're letting go of something. So just the shadow of obscurity being in there, it's like the light has been hidden from you. And it phobias and what's been driving you, because these are like forces beyond our control. What have you been driving you? And remember, when the lights are off in the room, you can't see, right? You can't really see clearly. So and this has to do with your relationships, your intimate relationships. So what's keeping you from intimacy, like true intimacy? So there'd be like a real fear of intimacy and beliefs around relationships. Well, intimate relationships, I always get backstabbed. I get betrayed. I get hurt. I constantly attract these narcissists to me, or these wounded people, like wounded male or wounded female. And this just always happens. Like, why does this happen? Well, that's the question you want to ask yourself for this full moon, is to go deeper. Why? Why do I keep attracting people like this? This is a pattern for me. To not just go into, well, this is just the way it is. No, that means you're in a pattern. You're in some kind of pattern. It also means it's beginning and endings. This is death and rebirth house. So some karmic pattern is coming to an end here, and it's around your relationships, your intimate relationships. So it could be with a partner, somebody with money, like the shared resources is the 8th house too. So letting go of a karmic partner, that could be a big one, that's coming to an end for this full moon, that you're finally through this karmic cycle with this person, and you can finally see them. You know, when we're in karmic relationships, we're in that shadow of obscurity. We can't see that person clearly at all. But all these strong emotions come up, and they're always a sign that this is a karmic relationship, or you feel like I can't untangle. I can't get away from this person. That's also signs that it's a karmic relationship. So something's going to be healed, because the 8th house is like deep, deep healing through this full moon, and some illumination will come. This is the thing. We go through our karma, our cycle of karma, Taurus, and we don't know. We're in the middle of it. We're just trying to keep our head above the water, you know, just trying to stay afloat. And then after it's done, that's when we got the wisdom. Oh, that's why that happened, right? That's why this had to happen, so I could grow and evolve as a soul. So that's what I see there. And then shifting your beliefs around. Relationships can be easy. Relationships could be supportive to me on my soul journey. I can really be with someone that I trust, right? That I trust, and they trust me. Like, that's possible. You know, it's just like opening up yourself to a different way of being in terms of your relationships and your relationship with money, right? Because it's the 8th house. Okay, let's do some cards. We'll get the story together here. Taurus in the 11th house, the 8th house. But I really see it as this karmic, whoever this karmic patterns. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person, but some kind of karmic pattern you're letting go of. And it's around intimacy. Into me you see. We all want to be seen. One of the top 5 regrets of the dying. I never let anybody see me. I never let myself be known. I didn't reveal myself to anyone. One of the top 5 regrets. And letting go of those ancestral beliefs of what a relationship is. Living at each other, living with each other. We're going to be living for each other now. The Aquarian age. Living in higher consciousness. Okay, what does Taurus need to see? What do the bulls need to see? What's Worm Tongue saying to the bulls? What's Worm Tongue saying to the bulls? Oh, this goes perfectly with the 8th house. We'll see if there's a... I don't know if this works here. Is there something that goes with jealousy? Something that goes with jealousy. Spirit, is there something that goes with the jealousy card? Let's see. What goes with the jealousy card? What goes with the jealousy card? Please tell me what goes with the jealousy card. Okay. It's the jealousy card. Jealousy, jealousy, jealousy. You can see the couple and then the woman with the red dress. It's more like lingerie. So jealousy, and that fits perfect with the 8th house and obscurity. Jealousy, possessiveness, all those deep things, the dark, niggly things that people don't like feeling. Yeah, in the 8th house in relationships and obscurity. So if we go to the root of jealousy, is I'm not good enough. Why do we become jealous? I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable as myself. Because really with jealousy, it's jealous of the other person. It's not really jealous of your partner, right? It's the jealous of the threat that's around our person, right? We become possessive and jealous. So it comes from a deep sense of inadequacy, too. But if we go to the root, like let's go to the root. So this is perfect for the 8th house. So this is obscuring. Maybe you don't want to face these feelings, right? Why you don't get into good, healthy relationships. Why your karmic pattern is to pick people who are emotionally unavailable, right? Pick people that aren't loyal, that aren't faithful, that belittle you and make you feel like you've got no value, like, you know? That maybe it's about avoiding this. Because the thing is, when we're truly in an intimate relationship where there's that trust that's built with the couple, this kind of stuff will come up. These wounds, these deep wounds will start to come up. And that's why people like Taurus are faithful anyway, but for the most part. But you may be choosing the wrong people because you don't want to feel this. You don't want to face these deep, deep wounds. The 8th house is the deep, deep wounds. And maybe you don't want to feel this jealousy. I don't want to feel these things. I don't want to feel jealous. I don't want to feel possessive. I don't want to feel vulnerable. Right? I don't want that. And this is like, no, this is where you have to go now. Right? Is to become whole. That your partner, your intimate partner, can help you to heal that, and vice versa. Bring this stuff up once and for good. So this goes back to childhood. So often we're attracted, like in conscious relationships, when both parties are committed to their healing journey, and not, this will happen too, is we heal our childhood wounds right through the relationship, because it's like a reenactment of what it was like in your family when you had that love, right? The beginning of the love before the karma kicked in. So this goes back to a sibling being born, right? A sibling being born. So you could be the oldest and then your brother or sister is born like you know, a year later, a couple years later, there can be this jealousy. But it can work the other way too. Like if you're the youngest or you're younger and then you're born, right? You can get this projected on you, this jealousy. Because this is the origins of jealousy. It comes from the siblings, the birth of a sibling. So you can have that projected on to you. Like, right, your sibling jealous of you. So that's what I see. This is obscuring the light. It's keeping you away from real relationships, not superficial relationships or karmic relationships, but like deeply, deeply healing relationships, right? This jealousy. To look at that. And then I think that goes with the positive one, so I'm gonna, yeah. And you got the Eight of Cups there, so it's like walking away. So this also is showing me you're walking away from a karmic relationship. You're letting all those cups go, the Eight of Cups. The Nine of Cups is like the wish fulfillment, right? So you're leaving that behind. You're leaving this karmic relationship behind, and then you're walking into something new that's more emotionally fulfilling for you. So let's see what the gift is for Taurus. I don't know, I see it very positive for the Taurus. This full moon, letting go. It's almost like a blessing from the divine, that's what I see. What's the gift? This one. Oh. Yeah, just what I was talking about. Grace. Look at that, the two babies. That could be your sibling, right? Yeah, so it's a mother with the two babies. So grace, I talked about before, it's that subtle energy from the divine. And this is the blessing, right? For this full moon. It's grace that's coming in for you to finally heal this. It's like the healing waters, right? Just coming over you from the divine to heal you from this karmic pattern once and for all, right? To really let that go. Yeah. And once we let things go, because some people, they let things go and then they're running because they're addicted. This is what happens, Stockholm Syndrome. We become addicted to those negative patterns. We become addicted to feeling jealous and possessive. Maybe your partner plays tricks with you, right? Maybe he or she's a narcissist and they do this, like to manipulate you, make you jealous, right? To keep your attention. They know this is your wound, right? Yeah. And then you got the Three of Cups, which is celebration. So to me, it's like it goes perfectly with the grace that you're really letting this go, right? Is to feel like to value yourself, to really value yourself, Taurus. Yeah. And if you're jealous, just let it be. Don't try to repress it or push it down. Just feel it. It's because it's an echo from your childhood. To feel it. Yeah. And also, I mean, I'm just thinking too, if this was projected on you by a sibling, or even your mother can do this too. Often, I mean, my father was really a sibling, you know, but when I look at it in truth, in hindsight, he was really like an older brother more than a father. That your mother, your father can do this too. Your mother could be jealous of you, you know, and play that out. But I was just thinking, if you're being projected upon and you're being jealous, like having jealousy projected on you, it may make you feel small. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't show off too much. I can't show my light too much. Else I'll get this negativity projected on me by my sibling, right, when I was a child. And you may be playing that out with a narcissist, right? A narcissist partner, the 8th house. Well, I can't shine my light too much, right? Because he'll get triggered or she'll get triggered, and then this anger will be projected on me to keep me small. I got to keep you small so that I can feel big. You know, that kind of game. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, there's some things for you to explore there, Taurus. But it looks good. Like this full moon is really, the galactic center is blessing you with grace to finally let this go, these patterns go. And you might find out, right, because it's the gift of light, so you may get enlightened about this karmic pattern, this karmic partner pattern. Okay. Jealousy. And then grace. Okay. Let's go for Gemini. Gemini. Yeah. I did Pisces at the beginning. Wank Shaftesbury. Karen. I was the other woman to my mother. See, yeah. So this is what can happen with. This is what can happen with parents. The parent, often of the same sex, parent will become jealous, right? If they haven't worked through their healing, so they can become jealous, like jealous of you with your relationship with your father, you know? It's so much, families really have to start healing, right? To me, it all starts with the family. I mean, ultimately it starts with the individual, but then the family is very important. I was the other woman to my mother, yeah. And it keeps you small if you've got a parent projecting that jealousy onto you. Yeah. Okay, let's put this away. Then we get to Gemini. So many cards here. Okay. That goes there. That goes there. Okay, so Gemini. Well, of course, it's going to be in the 7th house. So partnerships. So obscurity around the shadow of obscurity around partnerships. So this could be beliefs too that you have, Gemini, about what it means to be in a partnership for Gemini. What's expected of you to be in a partnership. Maybe you're not seeing something clearly. This is marriage partner too. It's the 7th house, someone you have a contract with. So being illuminated around your partnership for Gemini. I don't know any Geminis here, which is odd. Geminis. And with the 7th house. Let's do a card. I think that will... Any Geminis on the call? The video? Yeah, you may be in a little bit of fantasy with your partner, or lack thereof, not seeing things clearly. And how just you relate to others, right? Because the 7th house is the other people. Okay. What does Gemini, what's the ego telling Gemini? Oh. And then just one for Gemini, please. Yeah. This is your relationship, Gemini. You got heartbreak, right? And then you got the lovers. So this is totally aligned with the 7th house. So this is not not dealing with this. That's what I see. That you've gone through a heartbreak. And the thing is, these heartbreaks, we can just jump into the next relationship. You know, there's people who just jump from one to the next, one relationship into the next. They don't take any time to air out, you know? Maybe they're single for a couple weeks and boom, they're in another one. They don't take time to do the healing work, which is the heartbreak. And this is the purpose, right? We're going from 3rd chakra consciousness into 4th chakra consciousness. And it's about opening up our hearts. And how we open up our hearts is this shattering, right? The shattering of the heart. It's making me think of narcissists again. This is so connected, right? This 11th shadow of obscurity, because it has to do with the ego, right? And worm tongue is a narcissist. That's a disease of the ego that we can see in others. That we have to remember, if we were raised by a narcissist, you know, if you were raised by a narcissist, then the chances of you being a narcissist go really up through the roof. And I know that's controversial to say, right? What do you mean? I'm not a narcissist. Well, if you attract a narcissist into your life, then you have narcissistic qualities too. And nothing can heal a narcissist. Nothing can heal a narcissist. You research it, right? It's like you can't teach a person compassion. You can't teach a person to be kind or to consider others. So what heals a narcissist? Life heals a narcissist. Karma heals a narcissist. Because the narcissist has to have the experience. This is the ego, the insanity of the ego. The narcissist has to have the experience of like, oh, this is what it feels like. What I did to that other person, now I get it, right? This is the karma payback, right? And life will pummel that ego, right? Humble that ego. And that's how the narcissist heals, is through life. Anyway, that came up for me for some reason. So around your relationships, to not go into denial, like I'm the good one, right? This is the shadow of obscurity. I'm the good one. I'm okay, right? I'm the enabler. It's them. It's my partner. That's the narcissist and horrible. It takes two to slam dance. You know, if they have that quality, then that quality is within you too. It may be really buried deep within you. So to me, it's about feeling that the heartache, right? So that can go back to past relationships. Sometimes it takes. I mean, I had I jumped ship in my relationship way back, and I don't know, there was like maybe three months in between, like something like crazy like that, and then I jumped into another like really deep relationship. Well, I didn't deal with that the first one that I jumped ship on until this one ended, you know, many years later, and then this other one pops up. It's like, oh my God, I feel so heartbroken about the earlier relationship. Do you see how we can distract ourselves from doing that work? So that's what it's telling me, is to go back. Like, make a list of all your relationships and go back, right? Is there any unfinished business here? And the full moon is going to show you what needs to be finished, right? Because you want to heal this. You don't want to be dragging this into every relationship. You're using that person in a sense to escape from feeling that heartbreak. And when you don't heal this, you can't really open up your heart to another person, until you heal your heart. Okay, let's see what the gift is for Gemini. Then there can be a belief that, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. It does matter when you don't do your healing. You can't escape it. Because you'll keep attracting a person that's going to break your heart over and over and over again until you finally deal with it. Right? And what's behind this is a lot of light. A lot of light is behind this part. Shatter our hearts open and more light comes through. This is the obscuring. This obscures the light from us. It's heartbreak and not denying it, not dealing with it, not healing it. So what's behind for Gemini? Yes. It's called Celestial Speed Up. You can see it's a hand. It's a hand with lots of light coming down over these people. This is the Aquarian age. That's all I see with this. The Aquarian age, how things are speeding up. This is celestial speed up. And celestial speed up is happening in this full moon with that galactic center, right? That energy of the galactic center coming on the full moon. Yeah. So this is going to speed up the process of healing your heart. And that doesn't mean like you go, the celestial speed up is going to do everything. I don't need to do anything. You got to do your part too, which is to feel. It's just to feel. And to me, this is saying it's got the potential to heal, right? To heal your relationships. This is like, look, the two figures, the man and the woman, but the angel behind them being blessed. The relationship is being blessed for this full moon. Yeah. But dealing with the heart, right? Like really committing to like, I'm going to heal my heart this full moon. I'm just going to sit and I'm going to feel it right to the end. I'm not going to distract myself with it. Are there any Geminis? So funny that I don't know any Geminis. Gemini Sun, Paige. Keith is a Gemini. Are you feeling that with your relationships from December, right? Mid-December, this energy's been building up. Jen Goodwin, my mother and I had a blow up. I wanted to run. Yeah. The ego wants you to run. I think there's another sutra for a relationship sutra is like, I will not leave the room. Like I'll stay in the room. Right? That's a big one. That's that commitment. I'm just going to stay in the room and work this out, Saw it through. We talked a lot later. I think we had a major relationship breakthrough. Yes. That's all it takes is I'm going to stay in the room. I'm going to stay in the room. We're going to work this out. Yeah. That's awesome. Because remember when we do this healing, just macrocosm, microcosm, when we do the microcosm part in our own personal relationships, we're also healing the collective, when we have these breakthroughs, relationship breakthroughs. Okay. Let's go for Cancer. Let's go for Cancer. So Gemini, it could be about letting go of any fantasies, right? Because it's about the obscurity is fantasies of what relationships are. And we totally see that in the rom-com movies, and which is just it's just all a disguise for codependency propaganda. Okay, for Cancer. Cancer the crab. That's going to be the 6th house probably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So Cancer has the shadow of obscurity in the 6th house. So this is about work, right? About your work, what you do day to day. And it's about healing too. The 6th house is really about healing. So there can be some the light being hidden from you from 6th house matters. So some kind of weird, it could be like a weird health issue coming up too with the 6th house. And remember with health, to not identify with it. Like, I am sick, I have a cold. You don't do that. It's like I'm having a clearing. I'm having a clearing. Like, you don't own it. It's like you're bigger than that energetically, and something is moving through you. And often it will happen through the body, right? So work day to day, could be some kind of conflict too. There could have been the shadow of obscurity around conflict. This is like enemies, open enemies. So adversarial kind of people in your life that you're having conflict with. There could be some obscurity there that with the light hidden from, information hidden from you that you'll get to see after this full moon. Let's do a card here for Cancer. There's some kind of conflict that's been going on since December. You're going to have a lot of information about, because we can't make good decisions for ourselves and choices unless we have the information. Okay. What is Cancer? What's the ego telling Cancer? What's the ego telling Cancer? Yeah. Busyness. It's the ego is telling you to stay busy and distracted, and that works with the 6th house because that's working. So you're probably working way too much, obscuring the light, this is keeping the light and information hidden from you. It's just staying busy, distracted, and maybe not wanting to look at your health, like taking a real look, like an honest, sober look at your health and how you spend your time, because the ego doesn't want you to stop and relax, right? Stop and relax and face what's been driving you, because what's driving you here with the busyness is like you're running from something, you're trying to avoid something, right? You want to stay in the dark. The ego wants you to stay in the dark. It doesn't want you to come into the light. And this is where we don't work smart. The projectors out there, we know this, right? It's like how many generators and manifesting generators are in this, are driven by the ego to stay busy and not working efficiently. So I feel like if you just relax and you stop and you start to like, okay, I'm ready to face whatever this is. What am I running from? Because the 6th house is also the mind, anxiety and worry, right? Like, what are you worrying about? Staying busy in the mind, not in the body. Because your body could be calling you that you need you need to heal. You need to change your routine, right? So this full moon, you got to let go of some daily habits that are not serving you anymore, that you're just spinning your wheels, Sometimes we do the same things over and over thinking things are going to change, and they don't. It's just wearing you out, Cancer, with the 6th house. Yeah. That's what I would do, is just like, I'm going to stop. Even for a day, I'm going to stop and I'm going to break up my routine. I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to like really listen. It's about going within and going to your own inner truth. How do you want to work? Right? How do you want to work? What kind of job do you want to have, Cancer, if you're kind of in between? Maybe you have to look at where you're working too. Is there a card for Cancer? Here. Card for Cancer. Yeah. Cancer got the broken heart too. The Three of Swords. This is what you're running from. Yeah. Some kind of heartbreak that's connected around what you're trying to avoid through your work. Yeah. Okay. A lot of it's about the heart now. Healing our hearts. Okay. And what's the gift? What's the gift for Cancer? Tell me what the gift is for Cancer. It's this one here. Oh, wow. This is a big one for Cancer. That's why I want to... Oh. Yeah. Yeah. So the ego is keeping you busy, running from this. And this is about this like addiction to self-improvement. That could be the sixth house too, this addiction to self-improvement. That you're not good enough, right? That's what the ego would tell you. You're not good enough. You got to be improving yourself. You got to prove your worth. You got to justify your existence. Because maybe as a child, that's what gave you any kind of love, any kind of attention, was when you were doing something for somebody else, when you were always working. Right? And to me, your body's probably breaking down and showing you like you can't sustain this. You can't sustain this. You got to deal with this. This is what you're running from. Right? And this is about the past. This Three of Swords, broken heart. And look what the gift is: enlightenment. We know that that's one of the most powerful ones in the deck, is this one. If not the most powerful, is enlightenment. Yeah. And this is light, right? It's the gift of light coming in for you, which is healing. And the light's going to come through this, right? Through the heart, when the heart shatters open. When you feel that broken heart from when you were a child and a little girl, little boy, right? Then this light can come through. But it can't come through when you're doing this, when you're busy, because you've got to be still. He's still. Right? The enlightened figure is still. He's stopped. He's enough as he is. That's what enlightenment is. I don't need to improve. What do I need to improve? That's the ego. You got to improve. You always be getting better and better and better until you're in the grave, 6 feet under. Then it ends. Right? That's where the ego wants it to end. Yeah, and this is slavery, you know, this busyness is just being a slave. This is what our whole work habits for the Aquarian age have to completely change, you know, and it doesn't change them until we change it. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you're self-employed, you've got no excuse to be doing that, to be doing this, because you have no one to blame except yourself. Yeah. Barbara's saying I'm a Cancer, and yes, my legs are hurting. Super weird. Yeah. So your legs are saying stop. That's probably what your legs are saying, Barbara. Like stop running, being busy, running, doing things. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We are on Leo. Leo the lion. And Leo the lion is the shadow of obscurity, is in the 5th house. So this is all about your self-expression, your creativity, your sense of play. There could be the shadow hiding the light there. Remember I talked about laughter. If there's a laughter house, I would put it in the 5th house. It's about self-love, having fun, right? And there could be beliefs about that. You know, going back even to the Cancer, staying busy, busy, busy. There could be some beliefs about that. It's like you can't stop and play and have fun. You know, you gotta be busy. What's the purpose? There needs to be a purpose to this. What's the purpose? Instead of just, the purpose is just to enjoy, right? It's also about romance, your romantic relationships too. There can be some beliefs around that you got to clear out. Yeah. That relationships are very deeply healing for sure, but they can be fun too, to have like somebody to have a laugh with, and a companion and a friend, not just a romantic friendship. What else do I want to say about the 5th house with this? Your self-expression too is 5th house. It's all self-love. Maybe getting illuminated in that area and gift it, right? Because the Galactic Center is gifting and blessing us too in that area of your self-expression and play. And it's the creativity too. It's very, very creative. Let's do some cards though to bring it together, because I don't want to. And it's being true to yourself. And just because it's in the romantic house, is like really being true to yourself. Because people love the Leos, right? Leos are ruled by the sun when they're truly being themselves. And that's their house, 5th house. Yeah. It's knowing how to have fun. And I feel like Leo's been going through some heavy transits, and they're coming out of it now. Especially around the romance department. And play and fun. Okay. What's the ego telling Leo? What's the ego telling Leo? It's that one. Oh. Okay. Isn't that interesting? Okay. What's the question for Leo? That one. Jumping. The jumping. Okay. So it's the power struggle card. You can see these two in a power struggle. So you may be having a power struggle with your own self, right? The part of you, the Leo part of you that wants to have fun and play, and then the ultra serious part of you, right? You could be having that's the shadow of obscurity. This is also about people. That's what I see with here. So it's around a romantic, it could be a romantic partner that you're having a power struggle with. And what was I going to say about this? The lesson here is all power struggles that we experience on the external, they're actually just a reflection of what's going on with us and the internal. It's like one part of our mind wants to go this way, and the other part of our mind wants to go the other way. So it could be even like back to relationships, like the romantic relationship and then your own self-expression. Can I have both of these? Right? Either or, this either or. And there could be a power struggle in terms of your relationships, can I be true to myself and can I be in a relationship? You know, the power struggles that we can get into. And I'm not moving until they move, right? And what we have to remember with power struggles, how we move out of them, is we move forward, right? So if you move forward in your relationship, this is for everybody, that other person, it's a mirror. They're automatically going to move forward, right? And this is the thing, what we're learning in relationships in the Aquarian age is learning how to share power, right? To share power, especially as men and women, right? Learning to share power now, and not in these power struggles. Who has power over the other? This is the hierarchy that we're leaving, the patriarchy, more into this. We're both self-sovereign, hold on to ourselves. Yeah, this is about being your unique self too, and allowing your romantic partner to be their unique self too, and trusting that you don't need to get into these power struggles with one another. And then it's the Tower. Everyone's favorite tarot card is the Tower. So just with this, I mean, in the 5th house, I feel like the Tower is like an actual, it's a positive card anyway. It's how you look at it, right? These people are being liberated. So I feel like you and your romantic partner are going to be liberated from this. This is like an old dynamic inherited from your ancestors. You know those couples, the bickering couples, and I got to be right and you got to be wrong, and I get the last word in, and you bow and you agree to everything that I say, right? Just to keep the peace. Well, the Tower is like, boom, blasting this away, right? This is all obscurity. It's hiding the light to get into these power struggles because the ego feeds off this, right? Worm tongue loves the power struggles. It's going to be whispering in your ear, right? That person is trying to get one over you. You better say get the last word in. You watch some couples and they're fighting to get the last word in, right? That's the silliness because it feeds the ego. This feeds the ego, right? So this is like the Tower is the unexpected, like full moon comes in and this is gone, right? It's gone. And healing can happen that way too. I've experienced that where you're just different. You wake up one day and you're just different. Whatever used to bother you before is gone. Yeah, or you see it and start laughing at it. Yeah. And let's see what the gift is. So Wood person saying, yes, definitely experiencing a Tower moment involving power struggles. And you got to pick your battles, Leo. Is this really worth fighting? Right? With everything that's going on in your life and the world, is this really worth fighting? Or arguing with somebody? I notice that with myself too. Things that I used to get really riled up about, they don't bother me anymore. It's like that person has their opinion. It has nothing to do with me, you know? They're not hurting anybody. They're just telling me their opinion and I totally disagree with it, 180%. But I just let it go. I let it slide. So that's honoring your energy, right? To not get into these power struggles because it's just worm tongue. Worm tongue just wants to get in there and get fed. And that's how you get rid of that ego and dilute it, is you stop feeding it with your attention and stop doing what it's telling you to do. Okay. Let's see what the gift is for Leo. What's the gift for Leo? Tell me what the gift for Leo is. Oh, this is so Leo. It's confidence. It's just what I'm talking about, right? Having confidence in yourself. That you don't need to get it from somebody else. We don't get our confidence from other people. We certainly don't get it from the ego. That's not true confidence. That's that narcissism. That's what you get from the ego. This is confiding, right? Confidence confiding into your source, right? You're getting your energy from source, from the sun. That's what I see, right? Because it's the ruler is the sun, the confidence, right? She's not like, she's just up on stage being herself. Fifth house, self-expression. She's just expressing herself, like the mic, right? She's got her little fans there. She's not in this. She's not like fighting with her fans. Right? Some power struggle. You got to listen to me. I'm a great singer. She's just doing her thing. That's what Leo's got to do. You just got to do your thing. Be in your own lane, right? Not get into these power struggles with romantic partners, right? Because it's the fifth house. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else for Leo? I think that's it. Okay. Anyway, blessings in the fifth house for Leo. And some much needed fun for Leo. I'm a Leo rising, Leo sun, and boy, fun has finally come back for me. Yeah. Okay, where are we now? Virgo? We're in Virgo. Oh, I forgot to keep track of the cards. Oh, hopefully I'll remember. We haven't gotten a double yet, though. So Virgo, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Virgo. Virgo's in the emotional body. So remember, Virgos, in terms of our evolution as a humanity, we're moving from that mental awareness system into the solar plexus awareness system. So we're evolving through the emotional body. So this is really doubly true for you for this full moon. There's a shadow of obscurity, the light being hidden from you around fourth house matters, right? So your own inner self, right? And this is like the emotional body can block you from your light if you're not doing your inner child work, right? The fourth house is your childhood. It's also your relationship with your mother, and if you're a mother, right? To look at that. And beliefs you have about what it means to be a mother. Beliefs you might have about your own emotional self, right? And this is our conditioning, that we're weak if we're emotional. We're going insane. We're hysterical if we're emotional. And it's the feminine. The fourth house is the feminine. So there can be a real, just to tie it in with the right side of the brain, the feminine side of the brain. Let me just, we'll do the cards. So yeah, it's family, like going back to the family, that there might have been some beliefs that you've inherited from your family, especially your mother, or lack thereof, right? A mother figure. In self-care, there can be some misbeliefs about that. To like care for yourself is selfish. That's a big belief that needs to be thrown out the window. To take care of yourself, right? It's selfish. It's a belief pattern we've inherited. Right? And mothers are so taught that they have to put everybody's needs before their own. And then they're judged if they take care of themselves. Okay. So what's the ego telling Virgo? What's the ego telling Virgo? This one here. Oh. We did get a double, and I mentioned it. Okay. I know exactly where to go with that. Okay. Okay, what does Virgo need to hear? Oh. Oh. That's so funny. I just mentioned there was no doubles, and then we got doubles. So neediness, this is what the collective got. Neediness, the ego conspiracy of neediness, and then the Lover's card. So this is about your home life and your relationships. So there can be some obscurity around your relationship dynamics, right? This is the codependency dynamic, this neediness. So either you being needy or your partner being needy. So just because it's the man and the woman, let's work this angle, okay? So Virgo is like, my partner is so needy. My partner is so needy. He wants my time. He wants my energy. He wants to be shagging all the time, whatever it is, right? Where you're calling him needy. And you can flip it, right? Flip it. But the ego will want you like it's his problem. If he weren't so needy, everything would be fine. You know? Why doesn't he just leave me alone? Well, this ego conspiracy is showing you that you're denying your own needs. Because a relationship, just because it's the Lover's card, right? A relationship is there's me, there's you, and then there's the relationship, this entity called the relationship that's conceived when you two form a relationship together. So the relationship is showing you that your partner is expressing the neediness for the both of you, which means that you have you have needs too, that you're denying and that you don't like to look at your partner. Right? Like, why is he being so needy? What you're doing is you're blocking your, like, why am I so needy? I don't want to be needy. I want to repress that. And he's showing me and he's putting it in my face that I have needs too. So this goes back to your mother. That's what I see, is that somehow, and when you were a child, your mother couldn't fulfill your needs for whatever reason. Maybe she had an addiction or she just wasn't present, or right? She was in her wounding, basically. That what you do as a child is you just deny that, right? You deny that part of yourself, and then you create a fragment that I talk about, right? This is the false self. I don't have any needs. It's everybody else has needs, but not me, right? You're denying that authentic part of yourself that you buried away. So that's what this is showing, right? The ego wants you focused on your partner. He or she is needy and I'm fine. So you have to remember that in partnerships, people, right? That one is going to play a role, but one has to express the needs of the relationship to bring it into balance, right? So there's no my problem, your problem, it's our problem. To work like that. That's what I'm saying. And it's probably emotional, right? It's in your home, your partner in your home life. And let's see what the gift is. And all it takes is just to own it. Like, I have needs. That's all you have to say. My partner's showing me needs. Maybe he's like over the top, right, with neediness. But it will get louder and louder until you get the message. And then you get the message, oh, I have needs too. And then you start to be honest with yourself. Write them down. And then you're going to find your partner becomes less and less needy in that way, because you got the message, right? So it's showing you've got needs too that you're denying. Okay. And what's the gift for Virgo under all this? Wow. Virgo got the mastery card. This is like probably number 2 to the Enlightenment card. Mastery. So again, it's the person on the fountain, and the water's moving from him into the other people. Right? It's like the Ten of Cups, you know, the Ten of Cups card, just sharing this mastery. So to me, this is big for Virgo, is to get this illumination, right? This is the light that's coming in. The light is coming in about my emotional body, my emotional patterns, that I have needs. And Virgos don't want to admit that. They got to be perfect, right? The Virgos always have to present as perfect, you know? And they see flaws in other people. And they can be vicious. Virgos can be vicious with themselves and with other people, and pointing out other people's flaws because they're so into the details, right? So this is really, is going to be humbling full moon for the Virgos. Like, I have needs. That's all you have to do, is be gentle with yourself. I have needs. And maybe my need is to be accepted, right? Just to be accepted for who I am, that I don't have to be improving myself all the time. I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to present as perfect and put your I'm fine face on all the time, right? That I can be down. I can be down too and accepted by my partner. Yeah. Or whatever your needs are. They're going to be emotional needs, right? What your emotional needs are, which could be just be listened to be accepted, right? To the needy partner. It's like, you know what? Here's my needs, and here's what I can give you, right? And this is what I can't give you. Like, negotiate. You can have like a negotiation, the two of you. But this is showing you got to step a little bit forward, you know, and just recognize that you have needs. I have needs too. I want affection. I want a physical affection, and no, I don't want sex, but I'd love to have physical affection, you know, because sometimes especially the male partner will express that because they've been conditioned that they get intimacy through sex, right? And sometimes the woman just wants physical affection, right? So you just work it out. But this is mastery. What comes here is like self-mastery. So that's very powerful, and it's coming through your relationships. So don't see your relationship as an obstacle, right? This is the way through. That's what I see. And the light's coming in the 4th house. That's great. I like to see that for the Virgos. Virgo rising, Luna song. Okay. Luna's got 11.6 in your design. Oh, you're a 6 line. Yeah. And 17.3 in personality. Matches with my Taurus reading. Interesting. Okay. So you're an Aries then? Because you got 17.3 in the personality. Okay, where are we now? Libra. The Libras. And this is Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Okay, Libra. 1, 2, 3. So it's in your 3rd house. So this is can be your siblings. And it's interesting too, just in terms of the brain. The 3rd house represents the left brain, so that's the opposite of this 11, which is the right side. So it's how you think. So there can be obscurity with the way that you're thinking. You're not getting the full picture. And Geminis it's ruled by Gemini, but you can get locked into like the details, not seeing the big picture. Libra with the light being obscured. Again, it's about your communication. Let's do some cards just to put it together so I can get my focus here for the Libras in the third house. Oh, and siblings. There can be the shadow of obscurity with your siblings, not seeing your siblings clearly, Libra. And remember, we have a whole family within us. You know, we have a family. So our siblings can represent aspects of us. So if you have problems with your sister, Libras, it means you've got there's an emotional body block there, like there's emotional issues. And then if you have issues with your brother, that means that you're not getting the life lesson. You don't like where you are, basically. You don't like the lesson that you're in. If you have issues with the brother, issues with the sister, it's an emotional body block. So you can look at that too, Libra. And people play roles, like sibling roles, even though you may not have a brother or sister, but somebody in your life will be like a brother, or somebody in your life will be like a sister. Okay, this one just popped up. It's talking about doubles. We got another double. The Libras. Okay. Okay. What's that for the busyness for Libra? This one for Libra. This one for Libra, please. This one. Okay. We got the busyness card. There's another double. So to me, this is about, in terms of third house, this is busy mind. Not necessarily busy doing things on the physical, but having a busy mind. And this is obscuring the light from reaching you, right? So there's the mind going, thinking about, third house details and the mundane, the minutiae of life, right? Maybe getting caught up in the news and the details of that and the details of politics and all these little details and keeping you busy, but keeping the light obscured from you, the truth obscured from you, right? And then you've got the Emperor card. So in the obscurity, to me, it's like looking like you're in control, right? Looking like you're in control. In the third house. What's going on here? And the siblings. Yeah, I just feel like you're trying to hold this illusion of control with third house stuff. Maybe with your siblings. I'm the top dog, right? I'm the authority. And then the arguing. Yeah, third house is left brain, right? It's about arguing and logic, and I have to be right. Let's see here. It could be in your business too. If you're in a little team environment, there could be like that busyness too. Let's see what the gift is just to bring it. I don't feel like the full picture's here yet for Libra. Anyway, busyness is always about avoiding something. Okay, what's for Libra? This one here. Oh, okay. I love how it comes together. Okay, so this is accountability. That's the healing through this is accountability. Yeah, and this is what the Emperor is showing too. Because the Emperor is like the divine masculine. And accountability, the masculine, right? The correct masculine energy. Remember, we have both. Doesn't matter if you're born in the female form or the male form. We have both. In this energy, the male, the correct male, the male divine masculine energy takes accountability, takes responsibility when they make a mistake. When they make a mistake, they own it. You know what? I really screwed up with this. I really apologize. I apologize. They take accountability, right? A narcissist doesn't. That's how you know someone's a narcissist or a sociopath. They will never admit they're wrong. They can't. It's like poison, right? To worm tongue, to the ego. That's poison, to admit you're wrong. They got to be right. They have to be right. So to me, it's like you're not taking accountability in your workplace, your small workplace, with your neighbors, people that you see every day that kind of live around you, those people, and your siblings not taking accountability. So running from something by staying busy, right? In the mind, busy in the mind, and not allowing yourself to hear your intuition, which may be saying you need to apologize. You need to take accountability for something, right? Yeah. Are there any Libras? Because Libras like to be nicey nice. You know, they want to keep the peace. And sometimes they don't actually say what they mean. Right? There's like two sides, and then the other side of them is resentful, and the resentment builds up, and then they blow up, and then you see this other side of Libra that you had no idea existed. So to me, it's just about being honest in the moment with people. Okay. So Jen Goodwin. Okay, good. Okay, Paige. Thank you, Paige. This really helps, right? This is why I like the lives, is have the interaction. Because I don't feel this is completed. I can feel it, but you guys are adding the final puzzle pieces. So Paige says, I'm Libra rising and I'm having challenges with my sister right now as our father suddenly had open heart surgery 2 weeks ago, and we cope very differently. Yeah. So there's your sister. Yeah. So any conflict with the sister, that means emotional. That means you have an emotional body block. Emotional body block. What a great question. How to heal an emotional body block in a weekend. And she says it's affecting me in my sibling relationship and small work team relationships. Well, you've got to stop. You got to move out of this, right? The busyness. So you need to give yourself time and space. And this is why morning meditation is important, right? So you want to get rid of all distractions, anything that distracts you and keeps you busy, your mind busy. And then you just even breathe, like do long, deep breathing. So the best way to activate your emotional body is with your breath, is not to have any pause in between. And that's not the breath of fire. This is a different breath where you inhale for 10. And then you hold for 10. And then exhale for 10. And you just keep breathing like that. And this relaxes your body, and then your emotional body will start But you have to be patient. Now, worm tongue's going to be right in there. When you start doing this, worm tongue's going to be in there like, this isn't working. You've got things to do. It's going to try to keep you here in this busyness, right? The busyness of the mind. But you just stay with the breath and you be patient with yourself. And then start feeling, right? Feeling your father had open heart surgery, right? The life is showing you that page that you have to go. Libras, you've got to go into your heart and feel your heart. So you're breathing long and deep, and then you're bringing more awareness to your heart chakra, and then suddenly you'll start to feel things. And also I have an how to heal a broken heart meditation. I'll put that in the link below too, and that's a great one. It works with the heart meridian. There's lots of stuff you can do to heal the heart and those emotional blocks. And then you have the big cry and you feel so amazing afterwards. It's like, oh, I feel so at peace, right? Because more and more of your consciousness is coming into physical form when you do emotional body work. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on for Libra. Scorpio. Scorpions. Talk about feeling. Scorpios know how to feel. Yeah, and you don't need to look perfect with your siblings or your small work team, right? It's more endearing, I feel, when a leader is able to be vulnerable and authentic with what's going on, not look perfect, makes them more human, more relatable. Okay, Scorpio, second house. So the shadow of obscurity. Where's the thing here? Shadow of obscurity is in your second house. And that's where your money is, right? And your income, how you earn your money in this lifetime. So there could be some shadows going on there where you're not seeing clearly, not seeing the light, not having enough information of like what's going on with my finances. Because finances are like health too. Right? We can use everything on the external as a reflection of what's going on inside of us and how our energy is moving or not moving. So often if you have an emotional block, you'll see that reflected in your money situation, right? Emotions are water, money is water, currency, right? Second chakra stuff. So it's about your survival stuff too, Scorpio. There could be things hidden from you there. There could be some beliefs about, oh, this is the way that I earn money. This is the only way that I can earn money. I get a job and I do it this way, step by step by step. Things that I've inherited from my mother and my father, right? Beliefs around like, well, you've got to earn this certain amount of money and you should be just lucky to have a job, right? Just be happy that you've got a job. It doesn't matter if you're miserable, right? Remember that our generations before us, I mean, they had different lessons, our ancestors, And for them, that was the big dream, to have the stable job, stable income. But it's different now. People just don't want to survive. Survival. I just want my body to survive, and that means I won. We're here for a deeper reason. Right? Our sole purpose. We're here to evolve and grow. So I feel like you're going to be letting go of beliefs around that, right? Beliefs around your second house stuff and around money. And your self-value, of course. Yeah. Beliefs around your value. Yeah. And getting more information, right, with the full moon, like letting that go of using money to determine your self-value, like to let that go, that doesn't determine your value as a human being, how much money you make or how much money you don't make. You're valuable. None of that stuff matters. You could be a bum on the street and you're still valuable, right? Because you exist, right? You have value. Let's see what the card is for Scorpio. So big illuminations and a letting go of some deep beliefs around money and survival. Wanting more than, just material security. Wanting more than that, Scorpio. And Scorpio's deep. They want to transform this. Okay. What's the ego telling Scorpio? Interesting. Let's see the card here. It's very Scorpionic too. What's going on with the betrayal for Scorpio? Just one card would be good. There we go. This one good for Scorpio. This one for Scorpio, please. Okay. So it's betrayal. Betrayal. This card is betrayal. So feeling betrayed. Feeling betrayed. And this is really self-betrayal. When people betray us on the external, in terms of our relationships, it's just showing us that we're betraying ourselves. We're betraying our own self and our own self-value. So you may be Scorpio, you may feel like you're worm tongue, right? Where's worm tongue? Right? The ego, the worm tongue, is telling you, well, you got to betray yourself, right? For this relationship. You got to betray yourself for money, right? Because it's the second house. You got to betray your self, right? For money, for material security. Right? So this is the betrayal, how you're betraying yourself, how you're betraying your soul. Because everything comes from source. You have to remember that money doesn't come from people. It comes from source. It's an energy. That's all it is. And the ego is teaching you to betray yourself, to betray your soul's journey for material, for the material, right? For the money. Chase the dollar, right? Don't chase love. Don't chase what's real. Don't chase your soul. Chase the material world. And the thing is, that's even in the ancient teachings, when you chase love, when you chase God, when you chase the divine, everything else chases you, right? It's get to God and everything gets to you, Scorpio. Yeah, so you don't want to be listening to the ego, because this is just teaching you the betray. And if you have people around you that have betrayed you, maybe they betrayed you, you lent them money, and then they just took off, right? You're trying to get your money back and you're calling and you get ghosted just because it's in the second house, or they don't value you. They betray you by not valuing you, talking trash about you, but you're learning about, right? Because it's the shadow of obscurity. It's all going to come to the surface. And then Scorpio, you got all the information, right? So you'll know who's in your life and who's not in your life with this betrayal. Because right now it's the Seven of Cups. It's causing you confusion, this whole thing. This betrayal and money and the people in your life, that you're making bad choices, right? Picking the wrong people. Picking the people that don't value you, right? Picking the people that they care about money. They don't care about you. They just care about money. Yeah. And so this is going to be really, really clear, because one of those cups you want, and that one cup is the love cup. You want the love cup, and all the illusion and glamoring cups. This is the obscurity, right? Keeps everything hidden from us. Keeps us in confusion, right? In confusion. So stop betraying yourself. It's time to stop betraying yourself. So let's see what the gift is for Scorpio. And when you value you, right, then the world values you. It doesn't work the other way. I gotta make the world value me. It doesn't work that way. It's you have to value yourself first. And then the world will reflect that back to you. Okay. And what's the gift for Scorpio? What's the gift for Scorpio? Tell me what the gift for Scorpio is. Tell me what the gift for Scorpio is. Here we go. Oh. It's perfect immunity, and it's a picture of a little, let's see that, a picture of a little girl out in the field with the picking flowers. Perfect immunity. Which says that you're protected, right? You're protected by the divine. But you have to get out of this. You have to stop betraying yourself, right? Not valuing yourself. And then attracting people that don't value you, right? Attracting money problems because you're not valuing you. That's the thing. It's not a money problem. It's a self-value problem when we're experiencing that. It's showing us we're not valuing our own self. And so this card is saying, let go of this. Stop betraying yourself. Be true to yourself. Because that's what matters at the end of the day, is you looking in the mirror and feeling good about yourself and loving yourself. That's all that matters. This comes perfect immunity. This means that the divine takes care of it, takes care of the material realm for you. But you got to love yourself. You got to get to that frequency. That's the thing. It's all about frequency. You got to get to that frequency of self-love. And then this perfect immunity comes. If you're in the frequency of like, I'm betraying myself, I'm selling my soul for $1, you know, you're not going to get this, because this lives at a different frequency. Do you see? Worm tongue's down here at that frequency of betrayal. You betraying yourself. So don't listen to that voice that's telling you to betray yourself. Right? Raise your frequency to self-love. Speak to yourself. It's the voice. 2, the second. So you got to, what's coming out of your mouth? What thoughts are you listening to? It's got to be all loving thoughts. It's got to be high frequency. And then you're totally protected and you feel it. It's not a mental thing. It's like an experience. You feel protected. Right? Perfect immunity from all negativity. When you live in that frequency of self-love. So that's for Scorpio. There's got to be a Scorpio on here. Yeah, Jen Goodwin. I love referring to that as insidious little and sometimes not too little voices worm tongue. Because we need to discern. Most people living on the planet, they think they're worm tongue, right? They get confused. Well, that's me. I'm worm tongue. No, you're not. It's a foreign installation that's in your head, in your mind. It's not who you are. Okay. Okay, so let's go for Sagittarius. And it's right in your first house, Sagittarius. Okay, because as soon as you do that, as soon as you identify the ego in that way, right away it's like you're making it ego and my true self, right? You're detached. As soon as you say, that voice is my ego, that's not me, you're detached. You're detached. And that voice gets lower and lower and lower in frequency. You know? And when it gets louder and louder and louder, that's when I say to myself, oh, I'm onto something here. There's something really important for me to explore here, because Wormtongue's getting really loud. He's pulling out the big guns now. Right? You got to look at it like that. You got to have a sense of humor about it. Okay, so the first house. So shadow of obscurity in your first house, and that's your identity. That's how you show up in the world. That's your ego, Sagittarius. You know, and this is so ego related, this 11. So it's your approach to life, how you show up in the world, right? There could be some obscurity there. There could be some beliefs that are off that you need to let go of with this full moon happening in your first house. Beliefs about your appearance, right? That you got to look this way. I have to look perfect. I have to be beautiful. Too much focus on the external, right? And how the external is looking at you. That's what I see. Let's do the cards just so I can get some direction here. Sagittarius. And it's your body, but it's the appearance. It's your form, right? It's your avatar. It's your body. The first house, there can be obscurity. Maybe an overemphasis on your body and your appearance. Right? Like conditioning from your mother. About it. It's all about how you look. Right? That's what's most important, is how you look in the world. Objectifying yourself, right? Turning yourself into an object or other people. Well, if you objectify yourself, you're going to objectify everybody else too. Okay. What's the ego telling Sagittarius? Oh, we got another double. Okay. Let's do the other card to clarify the denial. Let's do another card to clarify the denial. Just one card for the denial. Denial. What's one card for the denial? Sagittarius. Sagittarius does not want to be seen. Okay. Let's go for these two. Oh, goodness. Goodness, Sagittarius. Okay. This is a big full moon for you guys. So denial. That's a from Pisces. Pisces has this too, so you have a connection with Pisces here. Denial. So denying that there's any obscurity happening in terms of how you show up, your persona, right? There's some shadowy areas. This to me is like the ego is taking you over. Worm tongue. You got the devil card, right? And then you got the nine of the 9 of swords. So goodness, Sagittarius. So that's anxiety, getting a lot of anxiety about this. Denying, and this is codependency, like attachment. So this is saying you've got an attachment to your physical form. That's what this is saying. Yeah. And it's causing anxiety. This is causing anxiety. This denial. So there's fear and worry. You might be worrying about aging too. That's what I see with the body. Yeah. And this over-attachment, right, to your body, to your form, and that you're much more than that. Let's see what the gift is, just to bring it all together here for Sagittarius. Because the 11 is in the Sagittarius, right? So it makes sense that this full moon would be big. Right? And this is bondage. You see the Devil card? It's bondage. You're bonded to this belief system. Will I be loved? Right? And we're so conditioned that we have to have this, this beautiful looking hot body, right? Our society is so sick. But this could be inherited from your ancestors, like I said, right? Your mother, your grandmother, and so on. Right? My body's breaking down. Will anybody love me? And watch that video that I did on gender. Was it in the gender thing? Loving beyond the form. I talk about this, loving beyond the form. Can we do that? And there's a great quote by Ed Sheeran talking about his granny. His grandma gave him some advice for when he picks a partner. And she said, pick a partner who you fall in love with their eyes, because the eyes are the only thing that don't age. So if you love someone's eyes, you love them forever. Right? And the eyes are the windows of the soul. So there's going to be some major illumination this full moon to get you out of denial. Because these programs can live really, really deep within us. This is the 11. It's the right side of the brain. These things go deep. What's the gift for Sagittarius? Okay. Miracles. It's a miracle one. So there's two hands with the light coming out the tree. So this is asking for a miracle to get out of this denial. And you'll know that you're in this pattern because you're having anxiety, like you're worrying about your body and what your body looks like. And remember with the mind, whatever you focus on expands. So you're looking in the mirror and all you see is a wrinkle, like a little wrinkle there. And your mind just focuses on that and it blows it way out of proportion, So this is how you know that you're under the devil energy, right? This attachment dependent on looking a certain way out on the external, and you're in denial about it, right? So this is the thing. It's bringing it into the light. You can't heal anything if it's in the darkness. That's the shadow. The ego, worm tongue, and the shadow want you in the darkness. It's bring it out into the light, right? Taken out of denial. And ask for a miracle. This is light. That's what I see. The miracle is coming for you. Yeah, I don't even think you have to ask for it. It's because you're Sagittarius. It's going to, right? You're the lucky sign. It's going to be coming for this full moon. It's going to be totally illuminated for you to release you from this devil energy and out of this denial, right? That this matters. We have to be honest with ourselves, right? Sagittarius is learning that. It's about honesty. Okay. I think that's all I want to say about Sagittarius. It has to do with your body and your identity and how you show up. Not listening to the ego. Okay. Okay, let's go for the last one. Right? We're on the last one. Is Aquarius. No, Capricorn. I always forget about Capricorn. The goats. Okay. What's going on for Capricorn? Oh, Capricorn. Capricorn's got the second most one challenging after Taurus. So the shadow of obscurity is in your 12th house. So that's saying that you're ending a huge cycle of this obscurity, light hidden from you, information hidden from you. What do I want to say about this? It's about your spirituality too. About your spirituality. So letting beliefs go about spirituality that you may have inherited from your ancestors. That to be spiritual means that I have to be isolated, because it's isolation. These go from like our past lives, right? The 12th house is past lives. That I have to be, I have to leave my family, right? I have to leave my children. I have to leave my partner. I have to go into isolation and renounce the world. And these are all old karmic patterns from our past lives, the way we used to do spirituality that way, you know? So it's especially if you're being called now, if you're really getting the soul's calling, that it's time to get on your spiritual path, like to really commit to it. We can come face to face with those beliefs, you know, and they're in our DNA. That's our ancestral memory, because we did have to do that at one time. We did have to leave the material world, in a sense, right? Go up the mountain and go to the monastery, go to the convent, isolate ourselves. So those beliefs could be coming to an end, and this is what's hiding the light from you. So hiding your own connection to your own divinity. That's what light is, right? Light is love. So hiding that from you with these beliefs. And these are buried beliefs. You may not even be conscious of them. We're not conscious of these beliefs until we start moving forward and moving out of our comfort zone. And then they start coming up, but they come up through emotional memory first. It's like you start to feel fearful. Where's this fear coming from? Well, it's coming from your past life, you know, and these beliefs. The beliefs come with the emotions, And so just because it's the 12th house, I mean, there's a lot of buried ancestral memories that are coming up for the Capricorns with this final karmic cycle coming to an end. But it's around your spiritual journey. That's what I see. And that you can see the light, you know? In our spiritual journey now, in the Aquarian age, it's all about having your direct experience with the divine. Not something, we don't need a mediator anymore, like a priest that's going to be like mediating our relationship with God, telling us that if we're a good person or a bad person and what we should do and what we shouldn't do. We're leaving all that behind. That's been the biggest lie in the Piscean age, is that we need somebody in between, right? Our relationship with the divine, and that's not true. So I feel like you're letting that go and letting all those beliefs go, and things can be different, right? Things can be different now. Yeah. And also letting go of people too. That's what I see too, because it's karmic. It's karmic, the 12th house. So those karmic people so we attract. Remember, it's like I've talked about these archetypes. If you have an archetype within you that doesn't want to do their spiritual journey, say it's the hedonist, we'll use that archetype, right? The hedonist that just wants to be in the material world, right? Wants control and power in the material world. It's not interested in spirituality, but it's inside you. You're going to attract somebody into your life that plays that role for you. That's the materialist. That will pull you away, will try to, because you have to choose to go or not, pull you away from your spiritual journey. That will come to an end, right? That would be the example of the shadow of obscurity at work. Okay. I like that idea. I'm just thinking of Zorba the Buddha, Osho, coined that phrase, Zorba the Buddha. Or Buddha, Zorba the, it's called Zorba the Buddha. But it's basically the merging, right, of the materialist hedonist with the enlightened being, that they can coexist. That we can enjoy the earth, you know, as spiritual people. We can enjoy our sensuality, and we can enjoy spirituality too. We can be both. We don't need either or. That's the duality that we're transcending for the Aquarian age. Okay. What's going on for Capricorn? What's Worm Tongue telling Capricorn? What's the biggest lie that Worm Tongue's telling Capricorn? This one right here. Oh. I think every live stream I've gotten that one. Okay. And do we have a clarification card for feeling unwanted for Capricorn, please? And the clarification card. Oh. Yeah. Interesting. So it's the feeling unwanted card, and you see the little person with the yellow. Usually Pisces gets this. the yellow t-shirt, walking away from the crowd, feeling unwanted. And then this, the 8 of Cups. So walking away from the 8 Cups. Well, so it's a finishing up stage. So finishing up this feeling unwanted. Feeling unwanted in the 12th house. And it's also about isolation, right? So Capricorns have probably been isolating themselves a bit with the 12th house stuff, which is obscuring the light from them, right? Keeping you in shadow, because Worm Tongue does not want you out in the world, right? Because he just wants to be whispering to you, right? Or there's nobody around you that's going to disagree with Worm Tongue. So wants you and telling you stories that you're not wanted, right? Nobody wants to be around you, right? Nobody wants to be with you. And this goes back to childhood wounds, right? Childhood wounds. So this can make you abandon yourself too. This is self-abandonment, the 8 of Cups. And feeling unwanted would be a self-abandonment too. Well, I'm not wanted, so I'm just going to abandon myself, right? This person that doesn't... This is the sour grapes thing, you know? You hear about sour grapes. The fox, you know the story about the fox and the grapes? And the grapes are quite high up, and he's jumping up trying to get the grapes, and he can't, right? He can't jump high enough to get to the grapes, so he tries, and then he gives up, and he goes, oh, they're probably sour anyway. That's this, sour grapes, right? Don't want to deal with this, that I'm feeling unwanted from one of your parents, and so I'm just going to walk away. I'm going to walk away from these cups. You can read the 8 of Cups in that way too, right? I'm just going to isolate myself. I'm not going to have anything to do with people because it brings up this. This is the thing. Worm Tongue doesn't want you around people because it brings up these wounds, right? These deep wounds of this feeling unwanted. So Worm Tongue is like, just stay. Yeah, don't bother with that person. Just stay isolated. Stay with your addictions, right? 12th house is addictions. Just be in your addictions and just be with me. Right, I'm your best friend. Worm Tongue's your best friend, Capricorn. We'll just hang out together, you know. But it's all about avoiding this pain of feeling unwanted. So let's go to the feeling unwanted, which is obscuring the light from you. So this comes from your childhood. This is about rejection, right? So you felt rejected by a parent, Capricorn. One of your parents. You felt rejected by them, like they didn't want you. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe you thought they wanted a boy and you're a girl, or you were a girl and they wanted, or you're a boy and they wanted a girl. It could be like as simple as that. You just didn't feel like you were wanted. Well, the psychology behind this is that your parent actually felt unwanted. So it was one of your parents that felt unwanted and felt rejected. And you caught their pain as a child, Capricorn. So it was actually them that felt unwanted, but you caught their pain. Because as children, we choose the mother, right? We choose the mother. And I talked about this in other videos. We choose the mother, and we've come down to help them, right? We've come down to heal them. There's a reason why we're born in certain families, right? As souls. So you didn't heal. You couldn't heal your mother if you're feeling this. You felt unwanted because you caught her pain. You weren't able to heal her. She didn't want to heal, so you caught her pain. This isn't really you. It's your mom's pain that you caught. So you got to let it go. And the other way you can read this is to let it go, to walk away from this, that this isn't me. I am wanted. How do you know you're wanted? Because you exist. Right? That's all it is. I exist, so of course I'm wanted. The earth wanted me. All these souls around me wanted me. Of course I'm wanted. Right? So you can't reject yourself. This is what this is saying. You're rejecting yourself and you're hiding that light from coming in, and you're listening to worm tongue. You're not listening to your soul. When you listen to your soul, it's that gentle, loving, small voice, right? That's always like, no, you're wanted, and it's compassionate and loving, and worm tongue is harsh, right? It's harsh and judgmental. Yeah. So you're getting out of this, right? Out of this cycle. And you're going to be in a new cycle. That's what this is saying. You're out of the 12th house. This is a karmic cycle of self-isolation that you've been in for lifetimes, that you're finally coming out of it. Okay, let's see what the gift is for Capricorn. See what the gift is for Capricorn. But light is coming for Capricorn. The light is coming for this full moon. You're letting go. 12th house, full moon, you're letting go of some deep pain. Okay. What's the gift for Capricorn? What's the gift for Capricorn? It's that one. So it's called honoring the truth. And you can see it's a priest at a pulpit. He's about to give a sermon. So remember, the truth is not something you figure out. Oh, I got to figure out this shadow of obscurity, and I got to figure it all out with my mind. No, truth is a frequency, right? It's a frequency. It's inside you. So it's honoring that truth inside you. That's going to tell you, or not, that it was actually my mother that felt unwanted. Wow, that's a mind blower. I'm going to sit with that. I'm going to bring that in and filter it through. Oh, that does feel true. Well, now what do? You send this energy, healing energy, to your mother or your father, the parent, or maybe both of them, right? Both parents that felt rejected, that felt unwanted, And that's how you heal yourself. So it's just about honoring the truth of who you are, right? Of who you are. And honoring these deep wounds. Don't be trying to run away from them with this 8 of Cups, right? Trying to run away from them and abandon yourself. You don't want to abandon. This is self-abandonment right here, if you listen to the ego. Yeah. So I see exciting times for you, Capricorn, to finally let go of this cycle that you've been in for a long time. That's what I sense. You've been in it a long time. But it's time to come back into the world. Okay. So Linda Stewart says her Capricorn moon's in the 12th house. Yeah. I've been isolating myself for a long time. I'm not to any substances. That's good. Yeah. is not to go into addictions. And if you do want to escape, right, I think it's healthy to escape once in a while, because life can be really challenging. Just for relaxation for the soul, you use higher frequency escape, which is meditation and, nature, watching a good movie, an uplifting movie, something like that. Those are the good forms of escape. High frequency movie though, not programming. It's funny, I just watched, I got a Netflix month because I just wanted to watch Stranger Things, because I like to see what teenagers are watching. And plus, I love Kate Bush, right? Her songs in there. And it's so funny because I'm the same age as them when it's just, it's like a full circle thing, like around the same age as them when they're in high school. I was in high school at that time too. And anyway, just the programming. And it's like all this anti-Russia stuff. It's just crazy. It's like how this programming happens, right? The predictive programming. You gotta keep you gotta stay conscious when you watch this stuff. It's all it takes. The bad guys are the Russians. Remember, it used to be the Germans used to be the bad guys in all the movies. Okay. Pisces we did already, right? Yeah, we're on Aquarius for the last. Okay, Aquarius. And that's in your 11th house, Aquarius. So I talked about this in the collective, so you want to watch the collective too. So this is obscurity around your friendships, right? So there could be some friends that are have some, what I sense is their beliefs, maybe taking on their beliefs a little bit, or imposing your own beliefs on your friendship, belief in what friendships are. And then just your network of friends. Let's just do a card here just to get me going. I find I need a focal point. I've got that 17. I have the 9 or the 52. I need something to focus on. Okay, this is for Aquarius. What's the ego telling Aquarius? Tell me what the ego is telling Aquarius. What's the ego telling Aquarius? Tell me what the ego is telling Aquarius. Tell me what the ego is telling Aquarius. It's that one. It's that one. Okay. Okay, it's the Judgment card for Aquarius. The ego is telling you to judge. So you could be judging your friendships, right? You could be judging your hopes and dreams for the future, because that's the 11th house too. Your goals. Any kind of groups of people that you belong to too is the 11th house. And that's your natural, Aquarius is the natural ruler of the 11th house. So there could be some illumination coming around your group of friends, your network of friends. So the tarot card is the Ace of Cups. You can see the cup coming from the divine. Right? So this is showing that that there may be, because it's in your 11th house, right? Some friendships are coming in, new friendships, because it's an ace. To not go into this like worm tongue, right? Telling you, judging. Worm tongue. Judging these new people, right? Don't trust them. They're up to no good. They're going to take advantage of you. right? This is obscuring the light. To me, it's like there's something new really coming in that's really good for you, right? Like this is like really good friends that care about you because it's the Ace of Cups, right? There's love there. It's also about self-love. And it's the hand is coming out of the cloud, right? That's the gift from the divine. There's a gift from the divine, and this keeps it away. And the thing with judgment is if you go to the chart here, do you see that 18? Right? That's the shadow of judgment. That's the shadow of judgment there. And it's the teaching here is that the mind just judges, right? That's how the mind works. So there's no way we can get rid of judgment. There's spiritual teachings like you can't, it's bad to judge, you can't judge. Well, good luck with that. You can't, the mind just judges. That's what it does. It's this or that, compare, contrast, this, that, compare, contrast. That's how it learns. That's how your mind works. But our issue is when we attach to judgment, right? And this keeps this away. This is obscuring this light that wants to come through, right? This love, these new friends, this new network wants to come in, right? So the judgment would keep this away. So you want to watch that, the judgment of your friends or them judging you, to not take that on, right? To not take that on. And to me, like they're opinions. These judgments are like opinions. Also, if you've got the 18, this is, and it so fits with Aquarius too, right? Because Aquarius is the rebel. If you've got the 18 in your chart, you would have been a nightmare for your parents. Because they challenge authority, right? The judgment, this 18 challenges authority. It's the fear of authority. So they start challenging their parents first, the people with the 18. And especially if you have it like in a primary position, like your sun or earth position, red or black. Okay. What's the gift for Aquarius? All this love trying to come in for Aquarius. But they're judging. Judgment's just a way of keeping the love away, right? Worm tongue doesn't want love reaching you. Okay. Okay. So this is good. Listening within, right? Listening within. So judgment isn't listening within. Remember, the mind is actually external to us. This is going into the soul, right? It's going into your being, your pure being, and listening from that place. This is worm tongue. Judgment is worm tongue. This is what's wrong with this person. That's what's wrong with that person. They're not a good person because we don't need this, right? Because this implies punishment, right? When you judge someone, you're saying they need to be punished, right? For something. That's how the ego speaks. So this is about listening within, listening to your being. Chasing this, chasing love, right? And going beyond this, the mind. Not everybody's perfect. You know, we're far from perfect. But it keeps us from this. Keeps this from reaching us. Yeah. And Aquarius can get so detached from their emotions, you know, and be kind of robotic, the Aquarius people. But this wants to come in, this self-love. Because this is showing, this is a reflection of your own love. When we attract really loving, good people, it means there's a part of us that's in that frequency of self-love. So to me, that's a good sign for this full moon for the Aquarius people. Yeah. Okay. Wow, the time goes by so quickly, eh? Okay. So that's everybody. And so this full moon should be something for all of us. Okay. Okay, so enjoy your day or evening where you are in the world. And what do I want to say about this? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's like just roll, like adapt and change. We really need to be flexible for the Aquarian age with it because it's all about change. That's what we're going through is change and huge transformation and letting go of the past, right? Letting go of those beliefs that aren't you and just trust. It's like stay within. With change, if you see it as a wheel, like a moving wheel, change, you have to go to the center. That's where you're safe. If you're kind of on the outside of the wheel, you'll get flung off, right? But if you're inside in the center, the very center, that's the calm of the storm, right? It's the eye of the storm. That's where you want to be. And that means being inside, like being inside your being and stay there and let all the change of the external happen, right? Because it's going to be a reflection of your change. We're going through huge changes this year. So you want to be staying in your center and trusting, being with your divinity and let the external, right, work itself out. Let the storm work itself out. Okay? So I'll see you next time and have a great day, evening, wherever you are. And leave your comments below too. Okay? And I'll see you probably on Tuesday. Okay. Satnam Aloha.